What's going on? Give me a second. Let me get some. Okay. I do apologize about that. Wasn't I usually have water, but I didn't. So I just went and got me some. But I definitely want to have a conversation about this. Uh, definitely wanted to speak about this one. Uh, I feel like it's a pretty good one to address. Just got to switch off on some stuff. But I wanted to talk about this with somebody. They were we were having a good discussion, and it got really heavy. The discussion. Uh, he didn't feel comfortable releasing. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so he didn't feel comfortable releasing. We're just talking about this, and I said I'll do it. Um, he's a good content creator. I hold him in high regards, and we just had a good conversation. But it was something that I said, dude, I'll talk about it. Like I wanted to talk about the single parent thing, and coming from somebody who grew up in a home, who grew up in a single parent home, it was rough. It was rough, but it also had I had good days, I had bad days, bad days. But I hear enough of the language that that having two parents, or you have a better life, or and also I know children that had one parent and their life got better. I I don't know why I'm seeing a lot of what I would call bastard shaming, and that's what I'm gonna call it. Call bastard shaming. In other words, it's the algorithm that we have um, in this country, in this space of our world. Not to say it hasn't been done in other places, but I hear a lot of it, and I see a lot of it. And when it comes to bastard shaming, in other words, it's that of a child that's the mother of circumstances, or the child of circumstances. It doesn't have to just be a mother. A child being handed off to other parents, to other surrogate parents. The child is going to be a bastard because he's not in a home where he should be, but just in a home, or a stationary place. And for the love of me, I've been watching this go on for a while in this space and on social media. And as I listen to what's being said and the verbiage, it didn't give me a sense of ease. It didn't, because I was like, well, if you'll say that about them, what's really going on with you? And I remember when I took my kid to school, how the other kids would get angry because he had a two-parent home. And as an adult, I'm like, well, they're just jealous. But how quickly I forgot that, when I was a child, I felt the same way. I did. 'Cause I didn't have, you know, I didn't always have my dad. I didn't always have my mom. Sometimes I got passed around. We all did. A lot of the children. If you are fortunate to have a good support system, and sometimes things happen where the parents or the adults couldn't be in the home like they want to, due to either they got to work or circumstances or extra pay, and different things happen. And and I see now the shaming, especially amongst certain groups and people. It got worse. It got worse. I don't know. I know why we shame, and I can't lie. It does suck. It hurts. You know. I've even seen it on certain areas or certain channels. They will say better for that mother to have starved than to have taken that supplemental aid. I've seen it where certain things about certain men would be said. Granted, the man does not want to, lose his freedom, but circumstances dictate. Listen, if things don't work out, forcing yourself to stay in a toxic or an abusive environment, how is that helping? Well, you do it for the child. I mean, okay, then that means that child's in a volatile situation. And I don't know about y'all, but listen, man, I've had both parents, man, and every day wasn't a good day. And I've had one parent, and I caught that wrath because they felt a certain type of way. The bastard shaming has been going on for so long, of being a child. Not to say I want to get rid of daddy-daughter dances, but that's a special time for a girl to learn from her father that she's a beautiful young woman. Not that I want to get rid of, times where a son sits down with his mother and she tells him certain things about, oh, that girl likes you. They give right make her a card. I remember my mom did that. She took some white paper. I didn't know if that girl liked me or not. I took a drew a picture and colored it. My mom took me by the store and got me a Tootsie Pop, and I taped it to the card, and I gave it to the girl, and she gave me a hug. I thought she hated me, but my mom was like, "No, no, she likes you." I had a lot of self-hated imageries about me because I how sometimes and that goes on for a lot of children that don't get to ideally grow up in the perfect home, the perfect setting. It's not always a good day, and we see that and we know that. And everybody believes if daddy comes home, things will get better. And I want to say that that's so. It's easy to say. Then I'll be lying to you. Whatnot. Somebody just wrote in doing a show saying, just get the child back to the man. Man, I can understand why I'm seeing that type of showcase out there. But I would want to ask the question: what would ever make that man want to break up contact with that child? What would make me as a man not want to have communication with my child? I can never picture anything or anybody ever making me hate my child just because we don't get along. And see, you're talking to an actual father. The woman cannot. There is no matter how much animosity and hate I would have against that woman. See, and I get you with that era black. But I gotta ask the question to my brothers, to all the men. I don't care what color, creed, who you are. Can that woman really make you hate your child that much? Can she really make you hate the loin of your flesh that much? That's a whole nother different type of hate. There is nothing that a woman can say to me to make me hate my son. I mean, what you gonna say? Well, I didn't want that child. Well, then okay, then but and I would ask the woman, what honestly do you hate upon that child that you would take out your hatred and frustration? And I will talk about that. I promise you, I will talk about that. I will do the content. You remind me of your daddy. You see, BMT is definitely in a form and fashion. I'm going to give y'all the guide conversations that y'all deserve, the people's conversations that we have been craving for. I know why everybody's focused on politics. I'm going in the more cutthroat, dark politics. The home. Politics ain't going. I didn't care about what was going on out there in the world. I didn't care about the courts. I didn't care about anything else. All I cared about was me as a child in a single parent household. All I cared about was, listen, man, does anybody care about me? What am I honestly getting from this, man? What honestly am I getting out of this? Some people say, well, the mother should get the child. Other people say that the father should get the child. And so here we are. Because honestly, right now, it's 2020. Everybody's shouting and dancing. And literally, the bastard shaming hasn't gotten any better for us. What's going on, Red Singh? She can't make you feel stupid. She can never make you feel stupid. No woman has that power. No woman has that power over you. No woman has no power. Whatever this spirit of lesser, no woman has that power over you to make you feel lesser, brothers. And I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm gonna tell you why we feel like that sometimes, that we feel inadequate or lesser than, that after we have a child, we don't feel like we're up to par we met, because we feel like we may fail. That we're just like our ain't crap daddy. Or that we're like the worst case. Listen, man. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. I don't care your politics. I don't care about who or what people may say about you. I just want you to be in your child's life. Regardless of what that woman says, that me to be the first thing you ever convey to that judge. Men, women, regardless of what, but I gotta let you know right now, the men are getting kids now. A lot. Men are getting kids. You can I'm seeing more brothers get their children. They may not be putting that out there, but men are getting their children. Stop listening to these dudes. I'm an actual parent that actually raises my children. So I got way more superior expertise than majority of these people that literally, I'm going to tell you what's really going on. I've seen more fathers drop their kids off at school since in 3-4 years. And when I asked them, yo, did you always have both your parents? They're like, no. Nah, I didn't always. I knew of my father. I had my auntie. I had my grandma. I had my cousins I grew up with. I think that's why I never fully fit into the black experience, because I was always trying to find my own experience. So I had to learn how to grow up with my insecurities and my shortcomings. Not having, the look, not having that type of swag, or, trying to, I didn't start getting into hip hop until I got older. I was always socially awkward because I sometimes, looking at how society and politics was going on in my house. And people say, well, if you had a functional home, well, see, we can also buck at that. But I knew kids that did have both parents, and they were pretty darkly disturbing. I was that kid that was told to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday and be ready for church. And I walked over, or I would go over to the church next door, and that was my life, and I had to make it work. I was that kid that that watched anime and TV shows and try to understand, somewhat of a bit of a place in this world, man. I hear this narrative that I never called anybody a king or queen, because I mean, then what master what master or what? All these I'm always hearing about this white man, but I'm gonna be for real, y'all. I never really cared about the white man. I never cared about that stuff. I mean, I'm being for real with y'all. I really don't care too much on these issues, and maybe that's because of my inference of how my life is, or how my life was. Because I'll be honest, when you're thrown around in a turbulent storm, and see, that's been one of the biggest struggles for a black child, especially a bastard. you never felt like you really had a flag or had something to claim to. You were just there. Like I mean, you're wondering, like you're wondering why the composited bastard child has a certain outlook on society is because they're like, yo, like, I mean, honestly, did I ever feel like, I mean, honestly, I was always that Moses. I was always that bastard child in the water. I'm not telling y'all like, you know, and this is also a reason why you see there's always this thing that I would hear that certain men, certain groups of men would take to being a father. And you would ask, well, those men were suckers or simps or losers or cucks. I wouldn't say that. See, that's shaming, that's bastard shaming. But I would also want to actually peek at it that literally that they knew what it was like to be that child. So they automatically empathize with what they saw. Same thing for a woman. Sometimes a woman, she knows she's not the mother. She knows she's just the God friend or the friend of that person. But empathizing, saying that, hey, you know what? That child just needs somebody. And I'll just be that person for the moment. And that moment becomes weeks, months, years. After a while, you just start to notice that nobody's coming. And that the best chance of survival is possibly just you. I always had a hard hearing about that. And see, to no end, I don't want to think that I don't like the narrative that I hear that um certain groups or certain people don't care about family. This, I mean, honestly, like, see, I don't call my experience black. I just call it my experience. I never called it black experience. I just call it my experience. I don't understand because like one of my best friends was that literally I had more in common with was a white boy in foster care. I think we both understood that, hey man, like our homes wasn't the best, but we were good friends. You know, and as I look at it now, I honestly ask myself, I say, yo man, like, what's the make of all of this? Like honestly, how is this honestly pushing my experience? Because you know, okay, so we want the single mother problem to go down. And we want the single fathers to take the children. Would that not be the same issue? Because would that not still be? Would that? How is that better in the chances of the child? I would want to ask that. How is that better in the chances of the child? Child still growing up in a single parent home. I'm not saying out the side of my neck that a mother automatically is a better parent than a father. That's not true. That's not true. You'll never hear me say that. But I'm hearing in a space where we say, well, you know what? F them kids. How are you talking about single? How are you talking about the? If you're talking about awakening and having some type of realization, then I would honestly ask, so what are you doing to fix the situation? What honestly are you doing? Like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, for BMT, this is me talking to y'all. I don't feel the embodiment essence of people that really actually. It's more so like there's a vendetta put up against from men and women about us having a homebody experience. And I've listened. And I've listened carefully. And I honestly would ask, but I've been over to all the sectors. And I always say, okay, I get everybody has a different content. But I'm like, how is that benefiting, your life? How is that honestly moved you forward? And I mean, people say, well, you got to start somewhere. We're talking, okay, but why is there not a draw of a certain group that want the tutelage of that lesson? Because if you're saying that you're trying to repair, because honestly, at the end of the day, when a man or a woman step into building a home, you can't be there for that. That's got to be between those two. No matter how much I may coach Super Mike, at the end of the day, he's gonna have to be the man of his own home. And I can tell you right now, different men and different women will tell you that are in the home. And maybe I need to have a conversation like, I'm telling y'all, there is nothing on social media that can honestly prepare you for that of rearing and raising a home. I gotta be real with you. There is nothing in the books for this. No amount of prayer, no amount of nothing. I listen, bro. Like all my fears, all my worries, anything you got going on, you listen, bro. You will find out you will find out when that time comes. I now understand what my father meant when he said, "Listen, you become the man of your own house. You will see and understand what I see." So I'm very curious on the conversation I hear with men and women on social media on how they speak about certain stuff. And I'm like, so has the bastard situation gone any better? But I was watching this one man, and he was talking about his interracial relationship. He was like, I mean, listen, I get it. Some people they making houses, but they're not bedded. And I mean, what you do is what you do. That's on you. I got no stake of claiming that. I'm just being honest. Like I really don't. But I'm saying that, listen, man, it's rough. It's hard. I've been that daddy that, what I'm saying, that literally parent from another state. I know what it's like, man. It's not easy, man. I don't, I all praise to the Most High, to all the mothers, all the fathers that single parent. I do not listen. I do not judge you. BMT does not judge you, but it is not an easy job. People that talk that good jabba jabba about these people, they need to take 2, 3, 20, 80, 40, 5 billion seats. But I sure do hear a lot of judging. But I'm like, you don't really see everything that goes on because you're not there. I've watched the phone conversations where one of my parents has to beg somebody just to send some extra money so we can have something to eat. Well, we'll simply get, well, you should have just not have been born. And I'm like, wow, shouldn't have made a baby if you can't take care of it. And I'm like, dude, no parenting situation is perfect. Like, who are you, chick? Like, seriously. That's why whenever I hear these high value conversations, I'm like, a lot of y'all full of crap. A lot of these people are full of crap. They are. Everybody has some words to say about the woulda, shoulda, coulda. You should do this. You should get that. You know, back in the day. Well, guess what? We're not back in the day, dude. To no end, I hear this enough, and I'm like, yo, man, like, listen, y'all. Some of us will be dead right now, man. Y'all say y'all want to see change, but I really want to know what change are y'all talking about making. Well, until the country makes it safe for a single parent, I'm like, a single parent? How when has it ever been a safe time for making kids? Please let me know. Please write down in the chat box, when has it been time? When has it been a good time for having kids? When has it ever been a good time for having kids? I need to know. So I will give y'all, okay, so y'all, you want to say the welfare state. The welfare state happening was the worst thing that ever could happen to certain groups of people. Okay, so you got the welfare state. We don't want to give that to you. Then what? So now, okay, so I'm a welfare baby, and I'll take that. I will honestly take that. I'm a welfare baby. I've been that kid that had to use powdered milk, certain types of cheese, greenback stamps. Okay, I get it. Me and my brother and sisters, we probably had to share some clothes and jackets. What next? Thank y'all for telling me that all of y'all predominantly on these spaces, on these categories, y'all all are six-figure people now. You're six-figure people, but yet you're afraid to go get near or get close to somebody because that means you really don't got that money like that. You're afraid because you think that you're gonna fail and you'll be a letdown parent, just like your past predecessors, the people before you. Excuse me. And that's fine. I get it. I do. Took us a while. Took it took me and Mimi a while. We had to learn about a lot of stuff. How to deal with our children, disciplining, spending money, how to properly communicate in front of them and off behind and behind closed doors. We've had times where, listen, man, I'm telling you right now, being parents, listen, man, especially from broken homes, it is a very, very, very crucial. Every day, it's like doing a peace treaty meeting with doggone two war torn countries because y'all gonna have difference of opinions. Medical. Medical is a big thing. I hear a lot of people don't ever talk about medical. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna have plenty of days. You always hear these conversations. I ain't never got sick before. I ain't never been this. I ain't never been that. I'm like, dude, listen, man. Kids get sick a lot. Kids get sick a lot. I never had a day where my child. I'm not saying that they were sickly children, but there was stuff that came up, and I had to learn how to. I've had days where I laid by that small little vessel and feel so helpless because all you could tell yourself is I just got to keep this fever down. I just got to keep this fever down. I got to just do what I can, and hopefully everything's going to work out. It's never been easy. And honestly, to think about it, I would just ask, like, what now? I can't really take no advice from nobody who's not on the battlefield with me. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, we're talking about the having children, but I mean, to be fair, like I would honestly be saying like, yo, man, like, are you building a family? I don't care if you're ADOS. I don't care if you're FBA. I don't care if you're an immigrant. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color, background, Greek. Listen, man, the struggle is real, man. I didn't grow up with a spoon in my mouth. And I'm not saying that. Listen, man, I'll be lying to just tell you that I didn't always. I did have. I did. I love both of my parents, and God knows sometimes I have my issues with both of them. And every day I have to learn how to kill off that man inside me that has that type of poison. I really do. I have to learn how to kill off that man that has that poison because I sometimes I feel a certain type of way. And I mean, I get it. If my parents do see this, hey, I mean, I'm speaking from what I know. It was not easy, and you know, I, when I hear the pompous arrogance of some people saying that, you should be thankful. I'm like, yo, dude, like I didn't. A lot of us didn't even ask to be here. A lot of us didn't ask to be here. Like I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man. I really don't care too much for YouTube because YouTube don't do too much for me as far as me as a black man running a home. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the answers to running a home are not gonna be on YouTube. The answers to running a home are gonna be within yourself. Looking for comfort in the circular spaces with other men or women. That's a false sense of security that I had to learn that, yo, like, I don't have time to feel secure. I need to be on my game because I should always listen, man. And this is why I'm trying to tell y'all, listen, I'm not, I don't see a lot of strength coming out of certain spaces or homes or talking points. No, that's so true. That's so true, Mr. Punisher. I don't have to get online and talk about how good of a dad I am, or you know what I'm saying, like all this other stuff. I don't. Y'all never listen, man. Like I said, I took a break from this. Like I don't care for that of the validation. I got to be honest. Like these people are not my peers. Like these people are not my peers. My peers are those in my home. My peers are those who care about me. My peers are those who, actually, I take care of and love and actually build a home with. Like I'm just being honest with y'all. Some of y'all may not like, me saying that, but I never gave a toot for the validation of men and women in these spaces, and neither should you. Because honestly, at the end of the day, what they think about you won't matter. It's going to be what you do in that hour of raising and building your home. I'm comfortable in my space, and I mean, regardless of what people, I've listened to a lot of people, and I support them, but they don't speak for me in my plight. I do. I'm just being honest. I've never looked at anybody as a teacher or a master, and I'm my own teacher and master. And I listen, man. Listen, I get it, but I don't. I want a lot of you black men to understand this false insecurity is gonna get you killed. And I'm not talking about physically, but I'm being honest. Like, there's no hand guide in the book. Not for you. Not for no one. There isn't. There's no Georgia guiding stone. There's no nothing. I'm not saying these things don't exist, but I got in the reality of what it is. We gotta just be honest, man. The cards dealt to you in this game of spades. It is what it is. You gonna have to find a way. Hang on, I got somebody. This is Mike. Mike, you better not have a lot of stuff going on in the back, man.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, Mike?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You must be on your day
Yeah.
off today.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Nah, sometimes you'll hit a good topic and I'll just call in during work, but nah,
hey,
nah,
I get you. I get you. Listen, we try. I try, man. This one right here, a lot. This I ain't gonna lie. I'm partially emotional on this one. You know what I'm saying? This is a pretty big one. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
We got a lot going on, man.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, I was raised in a single parent household too, so
right.
but with the divorce stuff and all that, so I think that's just part of the time. That was kind of the wave at that time. I think we kind of go through generational little waves or things that happen to large numbers of us, kind of similar. It kind of makes certain things unique. But I mean, YouTube, I think it like you said, I agree with that. It's not no, it's not going to be the answer to nothing that you got going on in your personal house.
But why?
But
But why do we shame, Mike? And I'm not. And I'm not talking to you as a conqueror. I'm talking to you as
right, right,
from one man to another. Like I listen. The BMT mantle's off right now. I'm just talking to you as
mhm,
a man. Like
right,
I'm sitting up wondering, like, me and you. I know you feel me on this one. Like, why are
right.
we shaming And I'm trying not to get emotional, but I'm like, yo, bro, I've been watching a lot of shaming of our plight, and it's not easy. And
especially from each other.
the household running, and you know, and I know, yo, it's a fight every day.
Right, right, right. No, but the only thing I can think of when I hear people doing the shaming thing, like I heard some brother, I'm not going to mention their name because it's people that we know that's on this space here. But like you said, I think that I'm trying to, like you said, I sit there trying to understand, like, okay, I mean, you think that it's smart to try to shame and try to denigrate people who are doing things, I don't know, that maybe you're not doing, or I don't know. But you want to shame them, and I'm trying to think, what do you get out of this?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what are they emotionally getting out of this kind of talking about other people? And so, all I could do is guess because I'm not no psychologist.
Right. But
But
do you think that makes it feel better? Because do you think that
yeah,
makes
maybe
it feel
they
better,
get something out of it. They
or
gotta
probably
get
helps
something
alleviate
out
their
of it.
pain?
That's it. They got to get something out of it because it's like it's something like seriously. I'm not talking about. I'm trying to figure. Like it's stuff that I don't even care about, but I had to force myself to think of it to even give you an example because I just don't care about it. Like I
Right.
mean, people. I don't know. It's something that
No, no, no.
somebody's
I
doing
listen,
somewhere.
bro. I feel the frustration, but I'm like, with all the stuff that I, all the stuff I know that me and you and I maybe we just vibe and we can connect on this very deeply. Like when I hear the stuff going on or how people are talking, I'm like, yo, man, like, listen, man, I came up not in the well conditions of a home, but I
Right.
came out all right. And I'm not trying to say, well, being a single parent child is cool, but I found my way. You found your way.
Hmm.
Well,
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something.
you're
I'm
doing
gonna
it
tell you
too.
something. No, I just thought of something too, seriously, with the shaming thing. See, like people grow up and they tend to blame like their failures or some trauma that happened to them because the other parent wasn't around. And I kind of I read something about this. I put it in the chat. It's this book I just heard about. I'm starting to read. It's called Scum, but I'm just starting it. But the thing is, this chick was abused, when she was in her household. She was raped by her own parent, beat up by her grandparent, all kind of stuff. She was just abused by dudes, so she hate men, and so that kind of that kind of filters in, and when people maybe lose their parent or break up on a parent, they blame the existing parent for any problems that they had, like any problems or hardships that they had growing up. They were like, oh, it's because they got divorced, what I'm saying, or it's because of that. And so maybe when they get older, they see these single parents, they see single, they feel like to stop it, they need to shame people, maybe make them feel bad. They kind of negative reinforcement. They feel that it's better to motivate people. They gotta uh, just kind of talk shit. Maybe that'll stop them. Maybe that'll fix them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But right now, we're going to 2020. We're going to 2021, and we I said out my mouth, there's nothing another unless I'm dead or I'm in some type of bondage. There's nothing anybody can say to keep me from my child.
Right.
Maybe that's me thinking like that, but I'm being so serious. There's nothing nobody can say to ever make me want to not have communion with my child.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I feel you 100% because now I have seen the videos because I hear, like you said, I know where you're getting this from too. Because I've heard them same little talking points from certain people. And like I said, I'm not gonna mention their name,
Right.
but the point is, it's like people come up here to me, it filters out as excuses to me. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? But it's them. I don't know. I'm just gonna say what I take from it. They just don't want to go through whatever hardships, whatever emotional, because the other person might be crazy. Yeah, they might be, because you see, everybody's seen videos where, maybe the person who has the children are probably doing something real bad, making it hard for them, or something like that. But you gotta go through that. It's like you're not the first person to endure hardship. Like to me, I always flip back. Like, dude, people ran, you know, refugees run thousands of miles to escape. So you're
Right.
not the first person to go through some kind of hardship. So if they can do that, you can deal with this little here. You got to deal with it because you don't want to pass that trauma on to your kid because that's what ends up happening. The parent goes away and maybe the kid gets abused, and then you're passing that cycle of trauma, to this next generation because they need, like somebody said in the chat, you need the guidance. You need the guidance because there's certain things your mama could guide you in. She can see good on this stuff, but you need dad there too to be like, hey, look
Right.
out for this, look out for that. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that's it. That's all I could. That's
You
all
know,
I could think of.
I I'm not gonna lie. I have some days where I was afraid. I'm just being honest, brother. I had some days where I was afraid because I didn't want to be a failure.
Right.
I didn't want to be a failure. And I know some of y'all are like, "What are you talking about, BNT?" And I get scared. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And I'm supposed to be doing a talk about my daughter. She's having problems in school and how I was hard on her.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember how sometimes that was the first impulse that we had. You know what I'm saying? We didn't understand
Mm-hmm.
it. Go get the belt.
Right. Right.
Go get.
Yep. See, that's why I
Go
said
get.
yep.
I, I, we know, boy. We got our ass. We got our lickings.
Yep.
We got a lot of licking. I tell y'all right now, boy. Y'all don't have to listen. When I watch them doggone movies with goddamn glory and all the whooping, boy, I felt you, Denzel. I felt you. I felt
Them
you. Every black
switches.
boy and little girl, they
Them
should have felt
switches.
that. Like, yeah, I know exactly what you're going through, buddy. I know exactly where you want to go to.
Go in the
So I
backyard
can't
and
get
get me that switch.
right. No,
Yep.
so for most of us blacks, for a good bit of us, I can't refute whenever we sometimes say there's some history behind whooping in slavery. I know I can never refute that. Like there's some gravity to that,
Yeah.
and just when I just look at what's going on, and I ask us, can we and do we want to be saved? Do we want
Yeah.
to be saved?
Yeah. Some of us don't want to admit it because, like I said, to me, I think a lot of people think that. To me, I'm gonna make this argument, and I'm gonna do a video on it. I'm gonna make an argument that all black folks are the same. Now I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with it, but I think that we're not all identical, but we're all going through a similar issue of rejection, of trying to fit in, of trying to be validated. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So, I don't care what spectrum you on. You can be rich, you can be poor, you can be smart, you can be dumb, you could be, we are trying to get a certain kind of validation for ourselves, and all that kind of thing. We got that going on. But the thing is, we don't some of us don't want to admit that we need a degree in a sense. And I'm not saying complete state salvation, but we need saving. You see what I'm saying? When I mean saving, I'm not talking about, oh, you're pathetic or something like that. I'm saying that, yeah, we need some help. Yeah, we need some information. Uh we need certain things to happen so that we can move to the next level of where we know that we need to go. And and unfortunately, I feel like, there's a group thing to that, because I mean, as an individual, you could do a lot of stuff, but then you move past your group and you don't get accepted in the spaces of other groups because you're past your own group. You're just out there by yourself now because you're so far ahead. And so then you're dealing with this rejection issue. So it's like you need your group to kind of elevate as well, so that way you can move around good. So I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on. But as far as the single parent stuff, yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have. I think some of us is gonna have to push through this stuff, and we got to actually figure
You
out like
know,
what's
you know when
actual.
you say that out loud, you know how some people get triggered, like they.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. It's
but you
all
know
good.
what? You're not lying. You're not lying. Like I hear what some people are saying, but to be fair, and I'm just talking y'all from one bastard child with another bastard child. Some of us
Mhm.
we got to just push through, y'all. I'm sorry, man.
Right.
You don't like hearing it, but only the strong will survive. And I get it. That woman got you. That man got you. Whoever got you. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to be like Denzel and just take them lashes to the back, and you're gonna have
Yep.
to just keep on.
That's
Nobody
it.
likes hearing that, but dang it, man, it is what it is, baby. Like shoot, we
Yeah,
we
that's just the story of life, man. You what you say, fight or flight, do or die. That's it. There's no real. I mean, you can go through all the little emotions that you need to deal with, but the bottom line is, the currency of life is do or die. You're gonna have to figure it out or just sit there and turn into dust. This is it. This is our really our only choice. So, as human beings, we got all this complicated thought and emotion and all this stuff that we deal with, male and female, and all these little dynamics and stuff. At the end of the story, at the end of it needs to some kind of answer need to be at the end of that, all that.
right
Some kind of answer need to be at the end of all that. Otherwise, you're down the battlefield.
now.
And
I'm
that's
gonna say
it.
that I'm gonna have to cut deep. Now let's. I'm gonna cut at this because some people are saying the best thing is leave the culture, divest, or whatever.
Yep.
And I always ask, like, how do you do that? I have yet
You can
found
try it. I
anything.
mean, I don't have. Yeah.
I'm still talking about how do you
I
do
mean,
that?
try everything. To me, it's like this. Look, try everything. It's so many of us out here. And see, this is what I mean. Like when I say that we're the same, but this is what I don't mean. That we have to do everything exactly the same. I'm talking about we're all trying to find an answer to a certain problem, the
Right.
same problem. That's what I mean. And so we're going to be doing different things to try to solve that problem. So if you feel like you want to try to divest, go ahead, try to do what you think it needs to be done. And then when everybody sees how successful you are, let's see if everybody can do it. But it can't, because the thing is, if you are successful at divesting and everybody divests like you, then we'll all be the same. We're all going to go your way, and so it won't be a divestment no more. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
No, it don't make okay. So if we look at that, then what would we honestly call the Black Flight era when all the blacks were trying to leave? Like we've already tried that.
yeah,
We've
the
already tried to
successful ones.
divest.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out where people going. I ain't stopping. I don't want to stop you. I want you to get there, but
Yeah.
I don't know where people are going.
Well, I mean, they're gonna try to do the same thing, but they're not looking at how this thing works. Though it's like, they're. I mean, yeah, you. To me, like I said, I always say this, and you heard me say this before. Number one is yourself and your family. That's number one. You got to take care of yourself and your family. Once you put your own self, your own individual life, and your own individual immediate family in like the top spot that you can put, then that's your first. But you can't. There, the problems that you endure in that space, that's a group issue now because you already in the top spot. You can't be you try to divest, you're going to create yourself, you're going to be in rejection issues, those kind of issues. See what I'm saying? You can't turn
But
into something else. That's what I mean. Like when people say this divesting stuff, it's like that's fine, go ahead and try it. But if you put yourself in the top spot wherever you at personally, then you to solve those other problems on your level now, you got to deal with some of this group stuff.
it's like I don't. And here's the thing, buddy, y'all. I've done seen all mannerisms of people um, in my travels. A lot of the people that y'all look up to are from bastard homes. Sorry, y'all
Yep.
y'all love y'all what Jeff Bezos as y'all call him,
Yep.
bastard home. We can name some successful people there ideally, but when I hear the down talk on the certain other homes, is a disgust. And you can feel the way you want to feel. I can't stop you. I won't try to. But I want you to understand that we didn't pick this. I didn't. And I used to look in the mirror, with my shirt off as a scrawny little black boy. And I say, what did I do? Who did I piss off? And I had to learn how to love it took a lot of love for myself. And being
Yeah.
comfortable in my own skin. And just
Hmm.
looking at it like, hey, you know what, it is what it is. I have to just move on. And I think us wanting so badly for someone just to love us as men and women,
Hmm.
it's gotten to a staunching plight where we just selfly inflict harm upon ourselves.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's self
Brother,
hatred.
I'm just being honest. We've been looking for love for so badly. We've been doing harm to ourselves.
Yeah. I think that's you kind of hit it right there because it's just like my thing is like this. I mean, we can argue. I mean, I think actually the talking. That's why I said YouTube. I mean, it serves its purpose. You can't expect more than what it's going to give you. It's a convening like little spot. So I'm gonna give it its purpose, and I'm gonna give it what it gives, but it's not gonna solve. It's not gonna actually do it for you. It's not gonna solve the problem for you. You got to deal with that yourself because everybody got their own little whatever they got in their family. All our family have these little vicious cycles. And another thing I noticed too, black folks, we're not really concerned. We don't look into details of other cultures, like, and we know our stuff. And so we kind of point out and highlight our own dysfunction. And then we start talking about, well, I don't see other people, having single parents. I don't see other people, with we talk about what we don't see because we're not looking at these other people. I'm over here looking at the Asians and the I guess Indians over here. I see it. Some
They
of
got
the they got it. It's happening, but it's not, but I mean, it may not be as effective or bad because we don't care about it. It doesn't affect us.
Right.
So, I just don't like when we put ourselves lower than any other. We're the same as far as a human race or group. We've been traumatized like everybody else been traumatized. We working through our stuff. This is what we doing. We arguing. We going through. I mean, yeah, it's bad, but this is what we working through. We working through it. Everybody else had to do the same kind of thing, and that's it.
No,
We just got to work
I
through it.
I agree with you 120 percent. Um, I don't like it whenever we I don't like it whenever we um make our issues seem like, oh man, like you see why they're so jacked up, and I'll be like, stop, please, like you there are everybody got it. Like trust me,
Yeah,
I lived around I lived around the trailer park trash people.
right.
They
That's some stuff
trust and
right
believe
there.
me, trust and believe me. I've seen like y'all. I just don't like it that I'm tired of being the poster child of
Right.
the abuse home,
Yeah.
and
It's like you so much worse than anybody else.
right, and I'm like, well, dang, y'all know other people got it bad too, y'all. Like, don't do that. Don't don't
Yeah.
don't don't play that game with me.
Yeah.
Now,
This.
no. Like I said, I'm not telling y'all, but I get it. Y'all saying y'all well, give the child to the man, or give the child to whoever, and that's fine. If whoever want the child, but I'm trying to let y'all know, man. Listen, man, the issue that we got going on with kids right now, the problem ain't gonna get no better overnight. It's just not.
And then on that tip too, this is the thing I always say, and I always say it, but it's like when you have problems in a marriage and you live in like a little civilization now, and you can't solve it between the two adults, then now you're gonna have society get into your business. That's what's happening. So if you pretend like society ain't in your business, that judge is now a part of your family. You know what I'm saying? That judge, they are now a part of your business. And so you got to factor that in because different judges are different. You know, if you can't solve your own problems, you're going to go down there and that judge's going to say, well, I like her better than I like you. She get them. And
Right,
well, both of y'all seem halfway decent. Okay, I'll let control visitations. My cousin, he has the custody of his children, but of course she had them first. But he was fighting for that for years. But I mean, and it does create hostility between the parents. Like it creates extra hostility because now you can't just walk away from that chick that because she got your kids. And then, like you said, like you were saying earlier, how you're gonna be scared. Like I had that fear too. Like I actually waited, like to me, a little too long. I was in my 30s. I was like, I'll wait because I got to make sure that I'm right this first time because I'm only gonna try this marriage thing one time.
right. No,
And then,
there's a
yeah,
fear. There's a fear to that. I mean, there is a fear that I believe that has swept the land because some of us have come from such a rough underbelly of circumstances that we worry about if we have a family, we're going to be doomed. Um, we're going to be doomed to repeat just a
yeah,
cycle. And I get listen, man. I hear y'all, but I also got to say, like, I just got to try. I just have to.
hmm
You know, and I'm pretty sure that's what Mike told himself. You know, I think that's why like sometimes people think that we're laughing, but we're like, listen, we're in the water too. The waves are hitting us too. It ain't never stop. I always listen to, well, when I get married, or you know, this the man gonna do this or the woman gonna do that, or you know, these high value conversations. We never hear this stuff in our home. Nobody talks like this.
No, no, you can't because if you come, you basically planning to divorce. Like this is what I hear when I hear people talking like that. They're literally planning to break up their house before they even start.
Mm.
That's what they're doing to me because they got all this thing. They think they're gonna control another human being. Like once I found out, I was like, man, I can't have no control over no other human being. She does what she wants to. She with me because she want to be, and I'm with her. 'Cause I can't. I'm not gonna be searching people's social medias and be wondering why you gotta all this stuff people dealing with. They think they can control women, bro. Like no, you can't. Like this person knows that you're the best thing to be with, and you got to
it,
learn. That's it.
it,
You
but see, but
and if
Mike,
they mess up, it's on
I
them.
believe me and you are too fairly balanced, man. We're too fairly balanced on our stuff. I think because of the way we view the world for what it is that it is, and y'all know me and Mike, we butt heads on a lot of things.
Oh yeah, on a lot of other
But
subjects, but on the
but
family thing, I think we usually.
but no, but also I understand your reasoning on we have to play the game like they play the game. Because I have those moments too where you know what I it turns on and I'm like, yo, I just gotta do what I gotta do. And you know what? And honestly, some people are like, well, will that be conservative? I'm like, listen, y'all, don't put no box. I don't have no time for your box or your labels. I am right now in survival mode. So
Remember the Matrix? You seen the Matrix, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, to me, once he stops seeing people and he just starts seeing numbers, that's out of the box. It's not a label. There's no definition on it. It's like solve the problem. I don't care what you want to call it. You call it conservatism, socialism, you call it capitalism, you call it. I don't come up with democracy, you call it. I don't know what you want to call it. I see numbers and I see a solution. That's it. Whatever. That's all I see.
That,
That's how I look at
and that's how I think that's why like this year alone I'm not going with any labels. I'm not going
it.
with any politics. I'm not going with anything when people were saying, "Well, how do you feel about this person getting a house or that person?" I'm like, "How does that better my situation?" At the end of the day, at the end of the day, I am still a black man in this country. My
Yep.
world need to change or blew up. Well,
Yep.
taxes. Well, the house. Well, the police. I'm still a black man. Everything, no matter what you bring to me, I am still a black man in the U.S.
Yeah.
That is
Solve a
how.
problem.
Yeah. That's y'all problem. My problems are 128% different. So whenever people keep on bringing up to me these problems all on these media, I'm like, my world ain't changed. The politics in my home and my home. That's why I understood and I was angry at Mike because he was right. No matter what, my politics didn't change. The court system. What does that have to do with me?
Heck yeah.
At the end of the day, my woman and my children will still come and say, I am hungry.
Yep.
I need
See?
clothes. I need food. My world did not change or get any better or any worse. I'm still on the same dirt road.
Yep. And yet, like you said, like I said, like you gotta solve your problems, your immediate family stuff. Like you're creating like you and you're forward thinking, man. So you're looking at your children. You're like, oh, they're good at this. That you're thinking of them 10, 20 years from now. Like, okay, what are they going to be doing? Let me set them up for success. You see what I'm saying? As a
Right.
man, that's what men think about. We're thinking, we're looking into the future. Like we see our kids, we see we see what they're good at, and we say, okay, let me set them up for that. Let me set them up for this. Let me give them the tools to be successful here. Let me give them the tool. We're thinking about their future. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, yeah, it's just like that's how I look at it. I'm looking at families like winning. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to make people the same as me, like exact. Like,
No,
I'm just
I
trying,
think that's
yeah, like,
I think that's the thing about it, man. Like, I don't think none of us are trying to convert nobody. Like that lesson,
right.
I ain't trying to save a damn
No,
soul. Like shit.
nope, nope,
I'm like every man, listen, every household for himself now. Like,
right,
listen, if you meet me at the Jordan River, if
right.
you try to cross over, we can cross over together. But it's like I want to listen, man. Like that's why I never. And I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you with my dress down. And sometimes I want y'all to know, like, I've always been afraid to really be my brother's keeper as a black man.
Mm, mm,
I'm being real. I want y'all to know. I'm being real with y'all. I've been afraid, Mike, to just be my brother's keeper
mm.
because I
Yeah.
don't know if you're gonna keep my family if I fall.
Right.
And maybe it's that fear from the man or the system. But you know what I'm saying? Because with the talk I hear about F these children, bump the community, this and that of society, I'm like,
Yeah. When
I
I
like
hear that, I'm
I
thinking
want
like,
to
where's that
do.
gonna lead us?
Where's that going to lead us?
That's what I
And,
hear.
I'm you got to understand, y'all. We are the bastard children of this country. We're the bastard children. We done had how many years and generations of whatever was stolen. And I know, listen, man, some groups and some people may not like us saying that, but it is what it is. It's true, y'all. They can tell you whatever they want. We had a home. Now we got Asian men running through there, Indian men running through there. We
Yeah.
got all kind of cultures of people running through our home because we're not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, y'all, I'm trying to not get too emotional in Israel, but y'all,
No.
2020, I don't know what kind of salvation y'all think y'all getting, but let me know.
Hey,
Tell it to
once
Mike.
we know,
Email him.
we gonna be like, we gonna see it. It's like, to me, it happens in waves. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and the thing is, the people who see it earlier, it's like they get impatient because they feel like everybody should have seen this because they figured it out, or figure some of it out, because nobody figured it all out. And that's when you
Right.
trick yourself too, because you think you know every damn thing just because you figured out a few stuff. But yeah, like once we see, like at the bottom line, like you're gonna have to solve your own problems. Like, you're just gonna have to do it yourself, really. And like you said, the prepping, yeah, that's your responsibility. If you didn't start prepping your family, like you do with the gun training, like you do with the prep, all that stuff, that is your job, black folk. If you don't teach yourself how to plant some food, or because I don't care what, you got to not only think about what's happening now, but you got to think about what could happen, what's likely to happen, and you got to plan for success in reasonable situations. And I mean, it's all on us. It's all on us. And
Uh,
so,
right.
I mean, we got to be, and like with the family situation, even like bringing it back to the subject and everything.
Right.
If you back with your family, like, yup, you got to have your kids or your family on your side. Like, they got to at least trust you to know that you care about their safety. Like that, I don't care what else is going on. They got to know if something going down, let me go to daddy house. Let me go to mama house or whatever. They got to, they need to know that. And you got to make sure that you got to go out there and you got to do your job, protect them. Like I had a situation, my mama, she was she was working with some group down there in Florida, and I forgot what it was called, Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah.
So she training and she's staying with some lady, and it was a problem. And she calls me up at like 2 o'clock. I'm in Atlanta. She like, yeah, Mike, this such and such situation is going on. I'm like, okay, where exactly are you at? And I just hopped up, and my wife like, where are you going? I go get my mama. You know what I'm saying? And I had to go down there in Florida, pick her up, and take her straight back. No questions was had. No, what's going on? No negative, nothing. None of that. None of that shaming. None of that. It's just like family. This is just what we do. I'm happy to be able to do it. So we get like all that negative stuff that we tend to try to holding people accountable. It's like negative is I don't know what, man. To me, everybody is held accountable almost, but I don't know. There's levels of accountability, but the bottom line is we got to kind of cut off some of that negative, stuff that drives people away from us because it makes people not trust us. It makes people not want to be around us. And, all they seeing is this negativity and this shaming and this, and you thinking that's going to change their behavior. What that's doing is they just want to avoid you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I listen, man. If y'all think y'all gonna stop the single motherhood, the bastard fatherhood, good luck. We ain't stopped this since the dawn of time. I don't know what y'all think y'all gonna be able to do in this day and age. Like I'm just saying, no place is safe. And I've been to many countries. I've been to many countries. I'm gonna tell you right now. It looks like, oh man, it's something more because it's our situation. But in truth, it's a societal issue being put onto us, and we got. I recognize this enemy. That's why whenever I look at, that's why when I look at it for what it is when they talk about the black woman taking the welfare state.
oh yeah.
And I hear the conversation. And a lot of people say, why did that woman take that check? And I'm like, it was the best check that we could get.
Exactly. That was the solution at that time.
It was the best check that we can get. I don't get mad anymore because when I think about it, time when me and my cousins were on that doggone, on that doggone blanket eating our food at grandma's house. You know what I'm saying? We were happy when somebody walked in with that WIC check.
Yep.
We pop in that car and go eat.
Yep.
And ain't nothing
Food
y'all can tell
stamps.
me. I would have boxed y'all in the mouth if y'all would try to shame my grandma. I'm just being honest. Like y'all
Yep.
forget things were rough for a lot of
Yeah.
for a lot of us.
Real bad. No, I mean when somebody say like I'll come home sometime after school, and my mom, you make a beeline to the refrigerator, straight to the refrigerator, and your parent, your mama, or somebody will warn you before you get there. Ain't no food in that refrigerator.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And you would be like,
yes,
I don't
boy,
believe it.
Boy, there ain't no food in the refrigerator.
And you don't believe it. I'm like, I would go to the refrigerator, I'll open it up, ain't no food.
Ain't no
But it'd
food.
be a little mayonnaise back there. I'm like, okay, there's food in here.
Now,
It'd be a little mustard, somewhere in the corner that nobody's seen
I'll
at the
make it look
bottom of
good.
the refrigerator in the corner. Yep.
You
And
know,
you figure out how to take that bread, put it on a spoon, wipe that mayonnaise out the that mayonnaise that was pretty much gone and should have been thrown away. But it was little vestiges in there. You wipe that damn mayonnaise up, and now look, it is some food in here.
uh, they look right at you. If you can find it, you can find it.
Yep.
Find it, you can find it.
My
You can
my
find it.
auntie, she used to put a lock. She used to put locks on her cabinets because they had the house that she let everybody in her house. She used to put locks on her cabinets. Damn food. If you listen to that Club Shay Shay, you know Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to the interview he did with Isaiah Thomas. Did you hear that one?
No, I didn't get to hear that one, brother.
Yeah, if you get a chance, remember, listen to how Isaiah Thomas grew up. You're gonna be like, yeah, that's how it was, because he was broke. He had 9 brothers and sisters, and his father had to get out the house so they can get the welfare. Yeah, and yeah,
See, no,
that was
nobody talks. See, everybody has the convo that daddy, left or daddy was kicked out.
yeah,
No, I want to honestly tell y'all that some of our dads said, "Listen, I got to get out the house."
yeah, because the state will only deal with the mama, and that's where brother X, he's always talking about Big Ma, Big Ma. That's how Big Ma became Big Ma, because they would not deal with senior Isaiah Thomas, his daddy. It was 9 kids they had to eat. You ain't making no money. They
You
won't
ain't
if the
making enough
man
money
was in
to
the
feed that
house.
many bellies. You're
Yeah,
not making-
what you gonna do? This is the decision that he had to make at that moment in time. You see what I'm saying? See, people don't understand like a decision. It also depends on the conditions of the time.
Right.
And people pretend like that didn't happen. Like they're thinking about now in 2020. Oh, this is what they did. Nah, it was a different time. You gotta look at what was the situation back then. And that man left his family and died. Yep,
And
he died.
I think we watch these things happen, and that's why I don't really have no real animosity or hatred for when I know what it was.
Hmm.
I don't have it. I know some people they got it, but I look at things for what they were,
Hmm.
and the survival mechanism is like a life raft. Grab onto what you can,
Yep.
and listen, y'all. We've had a
See,
lot of
and somebody T Black said it. You see, I knew somebody was gonna say that when I said the Isaiah Thomas thing. At that time, people see, just look at that interview. Just look at the interview with Shannon
it.
Sharp and Isaiah Thomas.
Well,
Because these
let's ask the question.
families was different.
Let's
It was
ask the
different
question.
back then.
See, that's the thing about it. It wasn't unusual to have four,
Yeah.
4 or 5, or my grandma had 8 children. My
My
grandma
my
had eight
my
children. She technically would have had 10, but 2 of her boys
yeah.
died.
Yep. People had kids like that. This is
But
what families routinely have for literally hundreds of years. Only now, only then was that's what they were doing with that welfare thing. And that's why they had that policy to create that answer or that question in what T Black asked. They literally, see that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's good to know some of that stuff because it takes because yeah, I know.
no,
People
no,
get mad.
you do know, brother. Because here's the thing about it. Like when we look at that, don't have that many kids. Well, back then, whether we had that many kids or not, the system didn't care for us. The system didn't care. Your children were, your family was your only system.
Yeah, and yeah,
Your
yes,
family,
yep,
the family,
exactly.
what the family was
That
the
was
system.
welfare.
That was
That was
welfare.
welfare before welfare.
That was your welfare system. Mike's Mike's mom needing him. That was her system. I know I got me a good son. I know I have me a good child.
Yep.
Let's be for real.
Yes.
A lot of us know right now, if we were to get put into like a mental health housing or something like that, who gonna take care of you?
Yep.
You better hope to God you got a good relative or child or somebody that cares
Right.
about your funky behind.
Hmm.
You better hope to God that somebody can help make you some Sunday dinner and put it up in the fridge.
Yep.
Because
Like my
we
great
don't have
grandma.
these. Oh, go ahead, brother.
No, I was just saying because my great grandma had so many kids, she never had to go to no home. Her rent was paid because the kids was welfare before welfare. And see, this is what I'm saying. People are making decisions, which is natural, but they're not trying to get a circle of the perspective. They're just linear. They just only, straightforward. Before welfare even existed, if you had one or two kids, you was in danger unless those kids became rich. You was kind of in danger. You was kind of in danger because when you get old, you're gonna have to live with them, and it's like, damn, you know, you, that's not necessarily the safest situation. So people had, you know, 9 kids, 8 kids, and the kids took care of mama or took care of daddy or took care of the household bills when they got older.
If you have that, take care of them. Well, see,
Doesn't
that's
make
the
it
thing about
right.
it.
Right and wrong. It's so funny.
See,
Right
the
and
thing
wrong.
about see, here's the thing. Here's the thing about it, and here's the thing about it, I want y'all to understand. It's called survival of the fittest.
Right.
It's called survival of the fittest. Uh, the more of you is the better chance that you and yours like you will survive. Okay. Animals understand the bigger the pack, the more
Yep.
harder it is to take out all of y'all. Even I knew this as a child that me and my three other siblings, it was four of us, versus the
Hmm.
pink knees, there'd be 15 of them.
Yep. Yep.
Numbers speak.
But you
Whenever it comes towards a lynch mob or something like that on black, guess what? Do you think they came just one? No, they came in numbers. But if they saw a bigger
yep.
group, this is what did they used to tell us to do when we were going home?
Walking
Walk,
walking pairs
walk in
and
pairs.
groups.
You got if you had a group of y'all walking, it was harder to get because they knew that them black girls and them black boys they would fight back.
Yep.
They knew they would
We
fight
did.
back.
We sure did.
If there was enough of us, and I grew up in the South, I know. So I seen some stuff, and believe me, we got our scrap with them damn trailer park boys. So
Yep.
y'all don't gotta talk to me about racism. I know, baby. I got this in spades. But there was enough of us versus some of them hicks. Oh, we were bamming. Oh, 3 on 4? All right, bet. We just gotta hit. We gotta just once we knock that one down, go after the next one. And I'm not getting racial. I'm just telling y'all the climate of what it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like to me, if people think I hate white people, I don't hate white
No.
people. I
We
really
don't. We
don't.
just
No,
we
no,
don't
I
like what you do.
guarantee you, I don't. I work with white people. I don't hate them. Like I have videos I'm gonna show where I actually talk about to white people about racism and solutions and stuff like that. And I talk the same way because it's solving these like little problems, all these different levels of problems. It's actually good for everybody. it's good for everybody, but some people just don't understand it and they want to go back to the old ways and all that kind of stuff. So then there's conflicts. But like when you start knowing learning how this stuff works, you don't have to hate people to understand the answer to a problem. It's not about the hate part. It's
Yeah,
just this is what we need to do here, you know.
I keep trying to talk. Listen, y'all. A lot of my best subscribers on this channel are white people. A lot of
Mhm.
them are white people. They know how I feel about a lot of stuff because I'm so openly honest.
Right.
That's my respect level because of my honesty of how I feel. Because I talk about legacy, they respect that. Oh, okay, so he trying to preserve his legacy. Yes, if the last of me die off, then I die off. Then what is there left?
Yeah.
We're in a
Yeah.
day and age where guess what? Numbers matter. It's gonna be survival. Y'all worried about what Kamala or Biden gonna do? Listen, if you got the numbers and you properly prep, you ain't worried.
Yep. I
You're not
mean,
worried.
I post about it, but I'm not really I'm just not really emotionally
I'm not.
into.
I'm
I
not.
don't care.
I'm not.
I just whatever.
Y'all already saw BMT's at peace. I'm in. I'm in. I don't know. Y'all people trying to figure out what's going on with BMT, man. He done gave up the goal. It's not that I gave up the goal. I'm just at peace. I'm like, yo, man, I got my family. I'm good.
Exactly. You
I
see
got my
that?
family.
That's what I'm saying. People don't understand that. People don't understand like when you have your people, your family, you know you have created like a little condition of love. You know what I'm saying? A little household.
Right.
That's like heaven. That's like heaven. That's the Garden of Eden. You see what I'm saying? Like it's hard to explain to people who thinking some of these other talking points that we hear. You know, like oh the like my wife, she used to say like oh I she was talking about before we got married. She was like, "Oh, I'm not getting married. I ain't gonna ever have get married because the way she grew up with her household." And
Mm-hmm.
so some people don't even see, they don't think it's possible that you could actually create a situation of happiness, of love, and it's actually like better than sleeping around with 50 million women or whatever. It's like some people can't imagine it.
No, I think one of the things about it, and listen, y'all, nobody nobody starts off perfect.
Right.
Nobody starts
Nope.
off perfect. If y'all think
Nope.
that when y'all get in a relationship, it's gonna be perfect, it's gonna be on the top edge quality, the stuff you see on social media, you're fooling yourself. You might as well go ahead and watch a Disney cartoon.
Yep.
It's just not. You're going to be dealing with some issues. You're going to be dealing
Yep.
with some traumas. That woman, she knows that. You know that. I don't know why we play these games. It is what it is, man. I'm just one of the things about it as a man, and I was talking about it, and I think Mike, you probably like, and I say this to a lot of people. Like I hear the conversation about um, it's always the time. It's the age old
It's
discussion.
the same. Yeah.
It's age old discussion. No, let me show you one of them.
Mhm.
Who eats first? I would always to no end I would hear that.
Yeah.
And as a man that literally has to raise a home, and so does Mike. One of the things about it that we always would ask is who's hungry. We didn't care.
Exactly.
We didn't care who ate. We just want to make sure our people need to eat.
Yeah.
The stipulation, well, the man has to eat first and all that other stuff. Listen,
I mean, to me, I don't have a problem.
we understand it, and naturally. But if my babies are hungry
Right.
and there's a plate and it's for me, they're going to eat off that plate.
Yeah.
They're going to eat off
That's
that plate. How can I, as a man, go on and my
no.
children are going to bed
Nope.
hungry?
That ain't happening. Not
That
me.
is what was the first thing that they did to us, Mike? Separate you from your family.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. And they got to do that because yeah, taking your authority away from your that's your whole legacy. Like at your family is your authority. Like that's almost like taking away your balls.
Yeah. No, 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 no.
That's
That's perfectly well put.
yeah.
That yeah, y'all gotta understand that that's the first thing the system will do. Any system separate that man from his authority, from his people.
See,
Because
they
once
just
once you
took
do
over your
that, that's
kingdom.
it.
They took over your kingdom. You've just been defeated. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then if they separate you from even wanting to reconquer your kingdom, they really win. You see what I'm
Don't go
saying?
back into the home. Don't
Right. I don't
leave
even
that
want
woman
to.
alone.
Yeah. You don't even want to reconquer your kingdom. That's that's your birthright. That's literally your birthright because you're born like you see this is what when I don't get about some of these conversations of trying to make men and women actually like we're different racial groups. Like we come out of the same vagina. We come out of the same we come out of the same kind of vagina too. Seriously. You're the same group of people. So like, it's just the bottom line is like, you got first dibs on each other. So I mean, true enough, people go out and to other groups and everything, and that's fine. I don't really have a problem with that. But the point is, it's like, your birthright is you got first dibs on that one. That's like your first, the one that you grew up around. So of course you're gonna have more issues with that one because y'all grew up together, basically. For the vast majority of folks. And so, nah, I want to say something about what Pusha said too. Yeah, right there. People say that every generation, every 20 years, people say that. The youth don't see other races of people like everyone else. If you look at that movie Roots, you remember that movie Roots?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. People said the same thing. In Roots, they was like, oh, it's gonna be a different generation because the white girl taught the black girl how to read. But the thing is, people don't understand it's not about hating. So the youth don't hate other races. But the thing is, the problem still exists, and it's not about the hatred part. It's a systemic problem. And that's the reason why it keeps coming back every generation, every single generation, every single generation. Because people don't see what the real issue is. They're thinking it's about actual skin tone. It's not about your actual skin. This is a situation that you got to study and get the actual answer on. So it don't matter what the youth see, they will grow into it. They're going to run into it at some point in time.
I think one of my things about it because like I said, I when I grew up when I grew up as a single child, I knew. Listen, man, I had white friends, quite a lot of them,
I had one. We had
but I
one, and one of my
listen.
best friends. I had a couple of them.
Poor is poor after a while. Poor is poor. Shit, you going listen. That part tart that part tart tastes pretty good. Whether it's broken in half from a white boy or black boy,
Yep.
we're going to still share. And the thing about it is, but the thing about it is, I knew at the end of the day I would have to do for mine.
Yeah.
And
And that's another thing. That's what I mean. Like in Detroit, and I talked about this a little bit. In Detroit, there was so many black people, literally. I mean, I grew up, it could be years I didn't even see because when I was little, as younger especially, it's like I didn't even see a white person. Like I didn't even see one. And you could ask people from Detroit around that time. It could be months and months, and sometimes in certain situations you go around the city and doing what you're doing, especially if you're in the area or the surrounding areas, you wouldn't even see no white people. You go to different jobs, everybody was black. But
yeah, what wasn't a portion of Detroit? Isn't it's like a good over 60% of it's black.
No, Detroit right now is 85% black. Back then, in like the 90s and like the 80s and 70s and stuff, it was like 90 some percent black.
Mm.
Detroit was just I mean, after the 67 riots, all the white people ran out of the city. They literally ran out of the city and went to the suburbs. So that's why you get that movie 8 Mile. But the point is though, you would see them when you going to work outside the city. If you went to work outside the city every day, you would see them. But like as a kid going to school and stuff, and it was like there was no white people in my school. There was none in my class. I think I would see one in the hallway, And then when I was going to school in junior high school, we had one white kid that stayed on the block, and he played with us the same as we played with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? We was friends, and so it was just like, but I understand now, and I literally couldn't believe because people were saying like we're the minority when I started getting to high school. I was like, I didn't believe it. Like,
KS asked a question that he said, "How come Detroit isn't a black haven?" And
I don't know what
before
you mean by haven though. Like,
now,
is it? You mean heaven?
I would probably want to say, well, I guess it's probably like how they try to say like Atlanta's a black mecca, and I want
Oh,
and I can answer to that
yeah,
that
yeah,
we don't control. Like,
yeah.
tell me at what time did we ever control a city? Did we ever control a system? I honestly be asking people, what when y'all was saying we were in charge of the home, listen, man, you better keep that
Mhm.
shotgun tight under that doggone bed or close to that corner because you knew if they had a bad day, some people were going to come mess with you.
I think
That's
is heaven is haven like a safe place or something.
I guess yeah, it's supposed to be a safe place.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I
What
think.
I'm saying is that
Mm,
once more, I could have sworn more to a lot of the factories were shut down and
yeah,
people were getting you know
yeah,
shut out
yep,
of certain stuff.
yep, yep. They moved out of the city. They just moved right outside the city, so they wouldn't have to pay the taxes to the
Mm.
government when in the city. But the thing is, Detroit. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I when I grew up, I felt fairly safe. It wasn't no racism. You mean if you're gonna get killed, you're getting killed by other black people.
Right?
So,
Why so dark?
so,
What
so
kind
that's
of
just.
logic is that? Oh well,
I mean, that's just the bottom line. I didn't. I literally didn't feel like no. I didn't feel like there was no. I wasn't like there was. I didn't feel like no white man was gonna like discriminate against me or something like that. So I don't know what kind of haven they're talking about.
Oh, he says you're
Like,
safe and you're productive. Now I'm gonna say right now, but I lived up in Springfield, Massachusetts, and
mm,
I don't know too much of. I mean, honestly, like I said, y'all, like I grew up around blacks for the majority of my life, for a good portion of my life. So I know y'all. I know us,
yeah,
and crime is definitely within the vicinity. Uh, if I feel like I could get one over on you, I'm going to take that shot. It's a doggy
hmm,
dog world, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's just how it was. So I understand why men and women, especially if the women have to raise the children, why some of the women became rough.
yeah, that's right. Because they had to
And
be the disciplinary. Yep.
right, so and you know what I'm saying. And for some of the boys,
Yeah.
as we would want to call it, the lost boys. And
Yeah.
one day I'm gonna do a little thing called the lost boys.
Yeah.
A
Write
lot
that
of
down.
boys had to listen, man. You didn't have much time to sit and wait to grow up. Either you had to mature up. I
Hmm.
had to learn how to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, wash dishes, make sure me and my siblings, you know what I'm saying, my older sister and my older brother, they were raising me because my mom had to go to work. And as
Right.
time go on, I had to start learning the stuff, start
Hmm.
take that chair and push it up to the sink and wash the dishes and start learning to cook what I could.
Yep.
And yeah, yeah, I mean, I knew who my parents were, just didn't just had they
Hmm.
had work, you know.
Exactly. Because my mom was working this same situation. Like I was talking to my cousin about this. I was all over the city and I mean, on buses and everything when I was 13, 14 years old. I'd be going cross town, outside the city, just everywhere. We'd be walking and going everywhere. I was cooking, like you said, just taking care of the house. And another thing you made me think about when you just said that Lost Boys thing, because these women acting like because they had to be the disciplinary, right?
Uh-huh.
Women can be a little more abusive. Like they can when they get angry, it's just a lot of times it's wild. It's like they'll just, especially if you look like your dad or something,
Ooh.
they're
Mm.
gonna hit you. They're gonna punch you. They're gonna keep you out, kick you outside the house, and close the door on you. You came home too late. Stay out there.
Mm. Remind me of
Stay on
that
you.
dang. Remind me of that
Yup.
dang man.
Yup. You just like
Mm.
your damn daddy.
Just like your
Yup.
damn daddy. I'm like,
Yeah. And see,
okay.
it's not like your daddy. It's your damn daddy. It's like something negative to it, and it's referenced over and over and over and over again for years. So it's like
How did that make?
now,
How did that make you feel?
exactly. See, I'm like, damn, I don't want to be nothing like him. Now,
Uh oh.
yeah, some other people might say, if see, like my father, like, but see, I knew him, so that was kind of good that I knew him, and he was a kind of a disappointment in a lot of levels. Uh, but and so I was like, yeah, I don't want to be like him. But just imagine that same language, just like your damn daddy. But let's say he was a success. So I would have been like, damn, well, I do want to be like him. He's successful. You ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So there's some people that's going to come out of that experience like these single women ain't shit. Some people going to come out the experience like, you know, see what I'm saying? It's depending on the conditions that that person is hearing that. Yo, damn daddy.
I think.
Or
Go ahead.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead. What you saying?
No, it just sometimes when I hear that, sometimes it just let's there's just so many things that go behind the scenes that us as children we didn't understand.
Yep.
Um, and as we get older, the trauma and the postpartum, you know, lashes from society and the world, or what I'm saying that, my mom told me that in the day, if a woman was going to survive, she had to get with him. She had to cling on to a man.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can make that type of money a man can make.
Hmm.
So you couldn't move out on your own, and
Yep.
the same thing for a man. Uh, Sometimes your only support system was that woman. That she was your therapy.
That's it.
She was your therapy
Exactly.
with the children.
That's a big thing right there. What you just said. That's big. That's big. That's huge.
That was your therapy, and and one thing I had to find out because I had money, but as a black man, I didn't feel like I had a purpose.
Mm.
I didn't have a I was when I listened to a lot of men and women, they sound like lost children to me,
Yep.
like children lost in Egypt,
Mm.
and they're trying to find their promised land. Like they want somewhere to go. They want something of belonging. They want to believe in some system of a form that is going to help them. And I'm not saying y'all. I'm just showing y'all what I feel in my spirit. That for a while, this is why they're afraid of 2021, Mike, because
Mhm.
they know that Pharaoh, the Pharaoh, whatever they believed in, is gone,
Right.
and they don't know where they're gonna go.
Right.
They
Exactly.
what promised land? If honestly,
Hmm.
if I could wrap Mike up in some sandals and in a cloth and say, Mike, take us to wherever you can take us and lead us. I will get right there behind you, Mike. But
It's gonna be right where we at right now.
exactly,
It's our mind.
Mike will crank up the car and drive us around the
Yeah.
block and park it right.
Yep, exactly. Park you
Well,
right back where you at. Now you're
oh,
free.
Mike, what
Go
you
ahead.
doing? You parking it back? Yeah, he said, we
Yeah,
ain't
it's your
going nowhere.
mind.
This is ours. We ain't going
This
nowhere.
our stuff. We live where we at. This is where we gonna be, and this is where we gonna free ourselves. This is just your mind, and we just start thinking differently a little bit. That's all. We just gotta take control of ourselves and understand, like I said earlier, like we gonna figure it out. Because otherwise, we gonna anybody who survive, I say they're gonna figure it out. The ones who don't figure it out, they're gonna end up probably just I don't know what they're gonna do. But
That's what I believe. The same thing that a lot of us listen, y'all. This coming up, this we're about to wrap it up with
yeah.
the bastard shaming, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all gonna watch them same bastards. They're gonna survive.
hmm
That's one thing
Yep.
I can tell you that's innately in our gene. It's survival.
Yep. That's the thing. You see you hitting on some good ones because see like right there, if these see people don't understand like that's what's so frustrating about like if you look at other areas where they had oppression and all this kind of thing or whatever and like people went in, they like eliminated genocided whole groups of people like completely gone like you talking about some of these Australians and New Zealanders and
Mm-hmm.
these other gone. They gone, bro. Like gone. Like in Native Americans, some of them are, I do believe that we are a mixture of Native Americans, but I'm
Right.
saying like the straight up, like complete Native American, a lot of them are gone. And like they haven't been able to do that same thing to I mean, and I know a lot of people don't think they were trying, but like they have been trying to kind of sabotage us to kind of
They can't
reduce
get
our
rid of
numbers.
us, Mike, no matter
And
what.
that's the problem. We sitting up here fighting them and talking about Black Lives Matter and running around here. God, they're
I
like,
don't see a point. I
fucking
don't I
nuggets.
don't see a point. I'm like this one dude tried to tell me they're gonna find a way to kill off all those black men. I said, why? They done if they were gonna kill us off, they would have did it in slavery.
That's what I'm
They
saying. See, people don't see that. It's not that it's easier said than done to just go get a bunch of guns. Oh, they got more guns than us. They got more numbers than us. But they ain't built like that, y'all. Like, see, if these folks they want to just kill you like wholesale like that, it's not as easy as people think it is to kill not 45 million people. You
right.
don't just do that. It's just not gonna happen like that, y'all.
Right. Like I said, Mike, we can't have these deep conversations like this in front of
Right.
everybody. They're gonna be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
these people are crazy. They can't listen, man. Back in the day, they didn't need a reason to drop you. If anything,
Right.
they had to say you looked at me, and that was it. Like
Yeah.
they need something of a reason. That's why I said
Right.
this
Exactly.
this thing going on with this march to DC and all this stuff. That ain't my fight. Listen, I ain't got nothing to do with
No,
it.
no.
That ain't got
Yeah,
nothing.
like the million MAGA march, you gonna be there? People tease me. I'm like,
You see
listen, bro.
exactly where I'm at. I said
Now
that ain't
I
got
was
nothing
at
to
the
do with
Million Man March. I was at the Million Man March. That's where I was at. I
it.
was at the
I can see that
Million
would probably
Family
affect my
March.
plight.
Right, right. We was there. We ain't had no fights. We was doing our thing, and we did what we did. We talked to each other. It was about us, and we left, and everything was clean after we left. The whole ground was clean. They didn't even have to clean up nothing hardly. So they said, "Oh, you gonna be at the Million MAGA March?" It's like, well, that ain't me. That's not my
That ain't my
thing.
problem.
I know
That ain't
that's
my problem.
somebody else trying to figure
I go
something
anywhere.
else for themselves.
Like I said, that's not my fight. When people tell me about them other stuff going on, I listen, y'all. I'll be telling you, I'll be for real with y'all as a black man. These other fights and all this other stuff going on, that ain't my fault.
Nope,
That's
nope.
not my fight.
And once we know that, we'll survive because we'll stay out of this stuff. They sitting up here, you talking about black on black crime. You're gonna see a lot of them
You gonna
having
see
inner.
what? Yep, 2020, 2021. Y'all better learn to do
And I'm
like me
saying,
and Mike. Sit
hey,
your
hey,
behind.
and think about this too. I would remember this. You know the Proud Boys, right?
Yep.
So the Proud Boys. But they're kind of making the face of the one black dude. That's a Proud Boy. It's like every time they say Proud Boys, I seem to only see this one black guy's face. I think he's a Cuban or something.
And he Cuban. He ain't no black guy.
Yeah.
They can't
Well, I
say.
mean, he's black, but he's not
Yeah, he's
from
black,
us.
but he ain't. Y'all know what we saying.
Yeah, he ain't
But
from all of us. Not.
here's
And
the
it's
thing.
like, yeah,
Yeah. No, I just
it's
saying
kind
that
of,
I don't like when people do that to us. They always they I don't like I hate convenient black. You're
it's just
conveniently
that's what I'm
black at
saying, like a
the right time.
token. I'm just like, brother, and we don't see this like this whole organization is mainly, this is a white organization. I mean, it's a gang. I call it a gang because I don't see a difference. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
like, but
I agree 120% with you on that.
yeah, but they put the media just putting his face out there like, oh, see, they're not racist. I wonder how many black guys try to join it. Maybe they got a few more. I don't know.
Why haven't they had a million black fathers? Well, I mean,
We
Mr.
did.
Publisher, it's hard enough getting. I
The
believe they
Million
already
Black
done it.
Fathers, that's the Million Man March. That was the Million Man March.
I think
That's
a
what
lot of
it
them
is.
were black dads. Those are a lot. Those are a lot of black fathers there.
I guarantee you that was what the Million Man March was about. And it's called yeah, that was the whole thing.
Like the
And
majority. Like here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. Majority of the fathers that I know, you're not gonna really see them here on social media. You
right,
might
right.
see.
Yeah.
You might find Mike. You might find me. I know there's a few others, but the how we think, like, I don't have no smoke
Yeah.
for the black. I don't have no smoke for the black woman. Really, I don't.
No, I don't. I don't at all.
I don't either. And y'all gonna say, well, what do you mean, BT? Oh, I'm like, listen, man, because maybe it's because of the space that I am in, and I realize the world for what it is, for how I see it, and how.
You got daughters, Ginty?
Yeah, of course
You
I got
got
daughters.
daughters?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. You got one or
Two,
just
two.
okay. Yeah, no, see, but I noticed too, like I do, I got two, I got really three technically, but when you got those daughters, you start thinking from their vantage point a little bit more too.
Right.
I think you notice that, yeah, you're
Yeah.
thinking
No. No.
like, okay,
No. I feel that because in my mind, I'm never gonna tell my daughter that she's less than. I'm just saying
yeah,
I understand the physical technicalities. I
what's
do.
up, information man?
I do. But I also understand that looking at how the world is presenting itself for me, my woman, and my children, and the bastard shaming and the single parent household and everything, I I I I take into kind that right now we already have enough on our plate. Like honestly, this thing does nothing. There are black like the media will put out there all kind of emphasis that we don't want to be there. I get tired of
Yeah,
always hearing that the only way we're successful, or I don't even like this high value. I tell y'all right now, I
yeah,
keep saying it to no end. Stop saying that high value stuff, man. That's not that is so anti-black. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I
high
literally,
value.
and I'm gonna tell you
Dude,
why.
I
I'm gonna
didn't
do a
even
show.
go into it to learn
I'm gonna
about it.
do a
I'm sorry, I
show.
didn't even learn about
No. I'm gonna do a show on why the high value term is anti-black.
it. Mm.
Because honestly, you forgot at one time, you as a goddamn nigger, the only value you were was dead. The only value you were was under somebody's goddamn claws.
Yeah,
I
you were
find
a
it very
plow
interesting.
horse.
How are you saying that you have some value, yet you on here trying to appease the masses that literally you don't control your own narrative?
Mm.
That's why I said the high value thing. How do you let strangers put a value on you when back then they used to strip you butt naked
Damn, that's
in
deep.
front of people and tell you that you're
Yeah,
worth $5, $100,
awesome.
$20, $15, but now y'all want to start going with the value system again. Do y'all hear
Dang,
yourselves right now?
dang, that's deep.
But now y'all want to start calling yourselves certain value.
Hmm.
Y'all never heard the
Man,
song Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo? How many niggas? That was a thing. They would take the niggas, tie them up by their toes, and they would put them up to market for the value. But
hmm.
see, this is why I say my children are lost.
Hmm.
Y'all don't even know where these terms come from. Why
Yeah,
would y'all put yourself in a value system of a metric system that was made for against you? The only system you got of power is that in your own doggone home. But when I hear
right,
self-defeated men and women say we don't got no power, no, because you don't see yourself as a power.
right. Mr. Punisher said something. Yeah, he said that that's how is a person called high value and not married. That's deep because like you build yourself up, you build your value. And
Exactly.
like you said earlier, you don't start off perfect. Like nobody does. Like if you don't grow into that value, like because everybody is unique and like you start off with somebody, but then y'all kind of, y'all end up kind of growing a little bit better for each other over time. But if you sitting up here, you make it everything yourself, and you made yourself so-called high value monetarily, I guess, by yourself. It's like it's gonna be kind of hard for you to match that up.
I want y'all. To think about this. We had that young man. Shout out to Mike for talking about him. Quan,
Yeah,
a young baby boy died.
Juan Charles.
Quan Charles. I haven't talked about him yet, but I'm supposed to. I got the stuff, but I want y'all to understand we don't got no protection, y'all.
And
We
see,
don't.
this is
There's I don't know
yeah.
who told y'all we do, but we don't.
See,
The
this is
only
what I'm saying.
protection we
Like
got,
that's deep because see, we a lot of times we should like I got cousins and family. Like you said, we're on this YouTube space, and most of the people ain't on this kind of thing, but there's a lot of us that are on it. But most people, uh, we are in integrated situations, and we're trying to protect our mindset so that we can keep going to work. Looking at our coworkers and being peaceful. And we don't. We tend to avoid these black little issues. So even though we're black, but we kind of
but
avoid those black
but why
issues
why is it that we have to tell ourselves to try to? But that's very deep what
because
you just
we
said about that,
yeah
especially about
because we don't
protecting
want to get
knowledge.
ourselves mad. We don't want to be the angry black person because we know. So we're self-restricting. We're self-making ourselves ignorant on purpose. You see what I'm saying? It's like you're
Right,
doing this on purpose so that you can stay a good nigga. Because like Frederick Douglass said, what he said, knowledge makes a person unfit to be a slave or something. So like
right.
if you keep teaching yourself knowledge or certain information, then you can't just keep going around folks and and keep keying. And if you learn about people like Quan Charles, you ain't gonna have nothing to talk to the people at work.
Well, see that's why I understood why um I understood. See, that's why I understood why certain talking points or certain stuff we talk about. Like, listen, y'all. If I would have had the same circle um masturbation conversations or mic word too, I mean, yeah, we'll get the views and stuff, but we know that wouldn't get us anywhere. But sooner or
Right.
later, we would have to, because when you're actually looking at stuff for what it is, like let's when you literally are that child that had when you get into that house and you got that parent that tells you there's nothing in there.
Right.
There is nothing that I know you want to hear. I know you want to hear that there's something there, but there ain't nothing in
Ain't
there.
no food in that refrigerator.
Ain't no food in that fridge. Ain't
Yep.
listen. That's honestly the equivalent of them telling you ain't nowhere to go. Ain't nowhere to digest. ain't no president gonna save you.
Yep.
That's the realism that we deal with.
Yep. And that's what made me go to my dad's house sometimes too. I'm like, dang, my mom ain't got no food. Let me go to my dad's house. And he would be like, as soon as I come in, he'd be like, hey man, don't eat this, don't eat don't eat.
Hey, listen, man. Like my dad, he was listen. Leave my rice pudding alone. Leave my lunch meat alone. Leave my cold cuts alone. Listen,
Yep.
I'm like, well, dang, what am I supposed to eat? Dang.
Yep.
You got
Hey man, don't. Yep. I had to be careful of what I ate out of his refrigerator because he knew where everything was. And he was like, don't eat don't eat, don't. And mama was like, ain't no food in that refrigerator.
But see, that's the thing about it, man. You know, right now we in this day and time where honestly a lot of us, there's no food in the fridge no more.
Yep.
I think that's a poetic algorithm of what's going on for a lot of black
What's up, KS?
people.
How your brothers doing?
Okay.
What's up? Doing all right. What's up?
We doing all right. We just having a chill session and talking about the.
Yeah, I've been.
You know, I've been talking about the bastard shaming. You know, how
bastard shaming.
Oh yeah. I dub and I claim that term that I've been hearing.
You coined it.
Huh?
I said you coined it.
Yep. So watch. I promise you. Mark it. There's gonna be people talking about it. And you're gonna be like, yep.
You know what, BMT? I was gonna say too. People be taking your topics. Like after you do a show, it'd be other people that be doing topics on what you said.
I know. I'm over it. I'm years over it.
I know, but I don't like how you don't be getting your credit for that.
Hey, I am way over it nowadays. Like, see, that's why when people be like, I don't say nothing, but they have the larger audience sometimes on stuff. But you'll be you're like, wait a second. You start if you look at their list of stuff, you'll be like, that was all BMT the whole time. I don't say nothing no more. Like, this is why I get right here at the table you're sitting at is the chess table where guys like me, Mike will come. Different guys will come around here. They'll talk or they'll sit in the cloud and watch, and then they'll go over there to their boys on the stoop and they'll talk about it. And if they do that, I'm fine with it because then I'm like, at least now y'all are possibly thinking. Because at least y'all might be thinking this time. So go ahead and talk about it. And I'll sit there and watch, and I'll be humble. And I'll watch. I'll be humble. But this is something that's very serious because right now, the bastard children of the single-parent home are trying to figure out, if you watch us, we're trying to figure out, KS, who is going to take us? Who honestly going to take care of us in 2020?
Dang, that's deep what you said. Who gonna take care of us?
Who gonna take care of us? You hear them now. You hear us now. Right now, Black America, we trying to figure out
do it
who will feed us.
We gotta do it ourselves.
Who actually care if you gonna get your cornbread and lunch meat before you go to school?
We got to.
That's it.
And I was gonna say, BMT, I was on your panel a couple of days ago about the crime bill.
Right.
And then when I was with you too, and after that, everyone been talking about the crime, but I'm like, oh, they done stole BMT's topic.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that's good.
But
Spreading around.
He goes, hey, let them. I let them talk. I let people talk. As long as people talk, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but I like how what you just said. A couple like when I just got on the panel, you said people are looking for what you said, who's going they next meal or whatever. I think that's kind of how Trump got elected. I think yes, it's racist people and shit, but I also think a lot of people is just like, damn, I'm broke. They about to give illegal immigrants all this shit, and I can't even feed my family, and I'm American. So
So in looking at that, and what's going on, Sin? That
what's up, Cynical?
Right now, because see, you already have it where certain groups are already banging on their master's door. Some are marching down to their daddy's house right now. And I would ask the Negro, where are you going? Get back on the porch. Get back on the porch. Because see, right now, then people are in a frenzy to find out what new God I need to pray to. What God you gonna pray to for 2021?
Bam.
I'm telling you right now. You got why you think they making these things? You notice a lot of the chatter. See, I had to get quiet because see, right now the reason why YouTube is so quiet right now because people don't know what God to pray to. The one God is about dead. The other God about to come in, but they don't know if they're gonna get a hot meal or not, or they're gonna get the last. So they don't know who they're gonna call on right now.
That's about it.
Hey.
Oh,
yeah, listen, boy. I tell you,
ain't right.
I think on a dark. Hey, listen. When I say I'm in a dark space, I'll tell you right now. You better be covered in the blood when you sit at my table when you talk to me. Because I listen. I will ask questions like, okay, so he's gone now. So what now? Ain't nobody coming to help you. Okay, so black men, now you got your authority. They recognize that 80% of y'all was standing with y'all women. So what y'all gonna do now? What's gonna happen now? Now that that white devil is gone. So now you got the collar off your neck, but you still got a shackle on your foot. You can only go but so far. We got the pandemic, so don't think you're gonna be country hopping around because it's gonna get harder for you to get back if the doors close again. We are looking at a possible another lockdown.
Yeah,
so I need to know.
That's what they want. That's what they want. They want to lock you down, scare shit out you again, destroy your little businesses, and then
while rationing food because of that food shortage they induced.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy because it's gonna be cold and flu season plus the virus. Because we
wait,
and then
flu don't exist.
Didn't they say it was on
flu? Oh, flu.
Didn't they say it was
is there such thing as flu still? I thought it was
didn't they say that no stimulus check was coming this next lockdown too?
Well, Trump just tweeted for another COVID. He just tweeted something about another COVID release bill, but I don't know.
He's still able to do that.
Yeah, I mean he's still president to the 21st, 20th.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you straight up, like people about to be seeing some fireworks, because he done fired all those Pentagon officials who's not loyal to him, and he installed his dudes, his little dudes is there. He's ready to scrap. He getting ready for somebody to try to kick him out. He got his people.
Yeah, he already set up his security force around on them ground. Listen. That man ain't leaving.
Malicious.
And he said it like even before the election. He was like, they asked him if he was gonna roll out, and he pretty much was just like, if I give. He said himself stuff. He was like, if it's a landslide, then yeah, I'll leave. So he already was in his head like, I ain't just going. Ain't nothing that man does that's just regular at all.
So what? So now that we have this going on, I want to know honestly. So because we got the bastard child problem.
Yeah.
That's our fight. That's our fight. And I know some people want.
Oh, I had an answer to.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was getting ready to say I had an answer to you had asked something earlier about like some things that we can do. I know there's a program right now that I don't know if you heard of Madge Torre. He's from Philly, but he started Black Guns Matter.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he started this program.
But I've always talked about militias. I mean that ain't nothing new to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. But yeah, that's part of it. That's part of the solution, I think.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's
just even being trained though, like Black Guns Matter. He takes like even kids and stuff and teaches them like the mechanics of a gun and how to use it. And I think like we need to be realistic and think about like just safe gun ownership and stuff like that, because a lot of these other people, they be homeschooling their kids. All their kids know how to shoot. They know how to like grow their own food. And a lot of us, like, even if some shit was to pop off, how many of us know how to grow our own food? How many of us know how to defend ourselves with a firearm? So yeah, that's what I think. But I also think it's a lot of good stuff going on. Like the whole bastard kids you talking about. I kind of was lucky. I had the Boys and Girls Club. So my neighborhood center.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I mean, but see, the reason why I brought that up about the issue with all this thing going on, because I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, with all these things happening, honestly, we hear that the welfare state's bad, and you just said that you had the Boys and Girls of America. Now that was something that was born of the welfare state. Now, I mean, I'm just being honest. That's what men and women, that if they, they knew that, hey, that these, people needed a direction. Either you found the boyfriend girlfriend of the streets, you can join that club. We've all seen those who join that, or you could have joined. Or you found hopefully a brother or sister that was willing to deal with you. You might have got lucky, and mine was somebody, a brother or sister in the church, or I had somebody that that was willing to sit down and talk with me. When I look at when people tell me about the politics of the world for what it be, I'm just being honest, y'all. Like, right now, we got in-house politics that we need to deal with first, holistically, before actually thinking that we're going to be dealing with, the world politics. Like, I'm being very fair. Like, we just don't got it like that. We don't, because honestly, I'm not going to get nowhere without. I mean, y'all know me. I don't be running on that pro-black, but I'm just telling y'all. And the reason why I can't afford right now to take on a mantle or a collar. I don't think nobody really can, because being openly broad about, our spectrum of what we are, we're going to have to be very nimble. And see, and the thing about it is, because when I grew up, blacks, and I'm about to pass it to Sin, they were telling you got to get out. I said, what do you mean I got to get out the black community? Listen, I told your mama to sign you up for Job Corps. You're going to have to go.
Wow.
Because they knew if I would have stayed, I would have died. If I would have stayed, I was going to die. So they sent me away. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave my friends and family, but they sent me to Job Corps. and I know I wasn't the only child told her.
Oh no, a lot of people a lot of my family went to Job Corps. My cousin had to three of my cousins had to go to Job Corps because of situations. And Job Corps was dangerous.
Oh God, listen, we get that. That's a whole other
Okay.
conversation, Mike. We'll talk on that
Yeah.
stuff, kind of boy. Let y'all know right now, you better be real tough when you go to Job Corps, boy. That's gangland over there, boy. Go ahead, Sin.
I heard.
All right. So as far as who's gonna come to save the bastard child, and this is on a literal and metaphorical level that I'm answering. It's safe to say that nobody's gonna come to save that child. That child needs to try to learn on their own. If they see something, even if they can't find a mentor, just watch how people move and try to pick up skills off of that. Because with the way things were going before, and now the way things have been going, people are looking at things like how much of a liability, some things and some people are. So they might not be willing to get involved with them because they've got their own stuff they're trying to handle.
Now,
I agree with that to an
Yeah.
extent.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt. Yep, because we got to save ourselves.
Go ahead, KS. Go ahead. You said you agree with it to an extent. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I agree, but like I also I don't want to discount that there's a lot of people who do give an arm and a leg to help other people out. Like me personally, not to brag or nothing like that, but no, I have my own apartment, and I remember I had a couple friends that needed a place to stay. I'm like, sure, like no questions asked. Don't steal from me, but like, yeah, you need a place to crash. You're getting kicked out your place or whatever, and I think that most black people are like that. I think we are open arms, but I do think some people get fucked over to the point where they're like, damn. Like I remember my brother took in he took in one of his I think one of his wife's, like, I guess his cousin-in-law, some shit like that. And he stole his Xbox, he stole his TV. So it's just like, well shit. It's like people that be helping get their finger bit the most.
It be like that, man.
I was just about to say that because Joe, you just had a show not too long ago with that bitch. I'm sorry, hang on. How restrained do I need to be on here?
We gotta try to be somewhat restrained, but try to find another word for the B word. But go ahead, brother.
Okay. That wonderful human being that you tried to help and even bent some of your rules for came in and tore your place up.
Yep. I remember that, boy. Yep.
And then there's the link I sent you to the other guy who was ready to break down crying.
I felt his pain.
Yeah. And even then, yeah, a lot of us do like to help out. Often enough, I find myself stopping and being like, look, I can't do nothing for these people. I got to go. I got to help myself first. But the fact of the matter is, there are people that will keep giving even though they have nothing left to give. And eventually, with the way things are going, that's going to cost them their own life too. So, again, you can't really expect people to be around to save you sooner or later. It's just going to be folks with self-preservation in mind.
Right. Yeah. Now, what y'all two was talking about earlier with the Proud Boys, whether it's like racist or not, to me, it's just a collection of people who just like I feel like father. I feel like a lot of people are searching for their manhood, and I feel like a lot of people like they're not getting that paternal figure, so they're just like making up shit. Like I think the Proud Boys is just a bunch of people with guns that are like, well, we want to form some type of club or something like that. I mean, let's be honest, we didn't really know who they were before. I mean, some people might have, but most of the people didn't know who they were until it was brought up at the debate. And I think Antifa's kind of the same way. I mean, they stand for being like anti, corporations and stuff, but outside of, tearing down businesses, what are their moves like outside of that? Like, do they have a nonprofit? Or are they actually helping people? Like, you know what I mean? So I think, yeah. Go ahead.
So let me grab my family, put them up there. So, you ever heard the South Shall Rise Again, or you ever heard of the Dixie Boys?
Yeah.
Now, if you down south, I used to see that all the time on the back of them doggone pickup trucks and all that stuff. Like I said, Lord have mercy, boy. Listen, you watch all them stuff and them Confederate flags and stuff. Listen, man. The Proud Boys. I was surprised. Everybody, who are they? Where they come from? I'm like, y'all just now seeing them? I've always seen these people drive around since I've been going to school. Listen, they ain't never.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I live in Pennsylvania.
No, I feel you, but like the boys that were marching in Charlotte, that was just one of them. Y'all, we've always been seeing them. It's just that that was the first time they ever got a shout out, and you got to understand.
Yeah.
What you want and what they want might not be the same want. See, Mike might want the restoration of saying, "Listen, I want what's just owed of my people." Sin might just want to where, hey, I want it where, black men have rights. That woman got too many rights. Just saying. And then you might have it where, Info might say, you know what? Why y'all complaining? We got it good already what it is. So you have it where 3 different talking points are coming out for their collective, but it's not our collective. You want it where the men go up, but then you want your woman to go down, or you don't want your woman to be elevated. You want it to where you get your reparations, but then you say only a certain group of people should be allowed to have a taste of the reparations. After a while, then you might have it where some people say, hey, I don't care what happens. It's not my problem. So we're joined here by Brother Info. Always a pleasure to have. What's going on?
My thing is, my only thing. Oh, yeah.
Go.
My bad.
What's up, BMT? I'll say to what you just said, brother, I don't give a damn about the people who don't care. I really don't have time. I've said this on my show the other night. I don't have time for Negroes who are not about solutions. I see too much on YouTube where brothers talk about these issues, and it's sort of that individual ideology of I got mine, you get yours. I don't give a damn about those people because they're not solution based. Bastard children, we have to. Why don't we ever talk about BMT? What creates a bastard child? Because we do know it takes a man and a woman that opens up her legs and makes bad decisions with the wrong type of men. And it also takes men who are not committed to family, right? Mm-hmm. And so what is creating this? And I would ask everybody, as we are responsible for ourselves first, we're responsible for our families first, the people that are under our crest, under our shield. That's what our responsibilities are. Right. However, I would say with that, as much as we can complain about the segments of black society that is not in the best situation, mm-hmm. How do we expect these bastards, as you say, how do you think that the narrative can change if we just go along and say, okay, I've got mine, I'm going to go do my thing? Because remember, these kids that are wild out here, BMT, and I'm old enough to remember this, and I think Super Mike probably is as well. I don't know the other ages of the brothers on here, but I remember when you had the crack baby era. Mm-hmm. If you want to know why everything is wild and buck wild, is because we forgot to a certain degree. I'm not accusing you brothers on here of forgetting, but to a certain degree, we have forgotten that a lot of these kids are they're now growing up. They're the teenagers. They're the adults. So they're dysfunctional because they came out of a dysfunctional drug situation in which the mother was on drugs and maybe even the father was on drugs and they were abandoned. So if you have a kid that's abandoned, the bastard, he does not have proper rearing like a father like you, BMT. And I heard a brother on here say that, well, they'll somehow learn. That's not true. You can't teach yourself to be a man just because you were born with some balls between your legs. You still have to have a certain level of tutorage. Okay, so yeah, and this is why when I'm dealing with guys in the penitentiary, they're dysfunctional and they're committing crimes and they're doing all kind of ratchet stuff. And when you go deep into the onion of their psychosis and you look at their background, they did not have proper men teaching them what it is to be a man. What they had was the gang who taught them this is what it is to be a man. And then we wonder why they're out here doing all this destruction because they had the wrong tutorage. So I'm not saying that any man on this panel or anybody is responsible to save the black community or save these young men. Right. To a certain degree. We're not responsible because we didn't create necessarily the problem. But what I am saying is that if there are brothers out there who don't have the time or do not want to go into these communities for whatever their personal reasons are, but you see that that you recognize that there are diamonds in the rough, then maybe you may want to support an organization that is doing the work physically on ground that you don't want to do. Or maybe there's a young man in your community, someone that you know personally in your family, or a young man that you feel a certain trust with that you might want to give some guidance to, because young men usually will listen to you if you've got something to offer them. A lot of times we expect people to change and we ain't got nothing to offer them. Meaning, do you have job opportunity to offer them? Do you have a program that's leading them to something? This problem, BMT, the bastard child, is not going to stop. It will continue as those communities become more and more decrepit, and they go lower and lower to the bottom of our society. And I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand why black men, even on panels, are sort of like I'm through with it because maybe they tried and they got a bad experience. I get that. But I lay on the ground to you, brother, without solutions, which starts in your family first, these problems will continue to consist. And one day, all of us on this panel are going to be elderly men, and one of these knuckleheads are going to knock us upside our heads. And even though we say, well, that's not my problem, they are still going to be a problem there, and they can still go into your neighborhood, your nicely manicured neighborhood, and knock you upside your head.
Right. No,
I'll stop there. I said enough. I said enough.
No. See, and that's why when I brought up the best, because y'all, that's why I brought it up. Like, listen, man, it's either something that we deal with now, or I remember I had a brother on a panel. I went to go talk to Reg, and he said, "BMT, you allowed a woman to get on your panel and I'm talking bad on black men." and I listened. And after that, I was like, my phone. Then after that, I had another guy said, "You know what's crazy? Y'all caught that episode where BMT had that woman on there. Where were y'all for when he was trying to get the funding for schools or trying to get the money for this or that?" And I said, "See, people are more worried about the ratchetry and the why we can't, but not what we have within our power to do."
Right.
So they'll keep on spewing down the venom. This is something that we will watch. I will watch a man that will talk down on info about leave them children to die. You know what I'm saying? Live your life, hit the gym, live it, all that stuff. And I say I have much respect because it's not easy. The content that we talk about, though people may take it and contort it, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And info, you have some you got a good point when you made that show about we will possibly be the underclass. In
brother, we are it's not a matter of we may, but I'm afraid that the reality is already happening right now. When you look at how immigrant groups compete in the marketplace, or how they are going to be competing, and there are
Versus
some
what
that
we
are
got.
competing, and they're getting and where they have the advantage is the education or the jobs training skills. And if we don't get our kids up to par in those either educational levels or the trade skills or the ability to create their own businesses, we are going to perish.
Let me tell you something to info. I think where they really have the advantage, that's true what you just said. But I think the core of where they have the advantage over us is they have a sense of identity about themselves, of who they are. There's no debates about who's black, who's not black. There's no debates about all of these different fragmentation type debates of who's high value, who's low value, this thing, who's nothing, and we need to let people go. All these type of debates. They have debates in their community, but they at least know who they are. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. Like when they coming together and doing things, they just have that sense like these are our children. So that way the rich, maybe a Hispanic or Latino guy, he sees an interest in setting up an institution to make sure that immigrants, even though they're not American maybe, but they're his people. You see what I mean? Because he identifies with them. And see, with us, we have this situation where, well, I'm high value and I don't need to, I just need to divest.
Super Mike, let me tell you let me give you the diagnosis here. And I know brothers won't like what I'm saying. Some brothers listening, but guess what? I don't give a damn. I'll be honest with you. BMT, we had this conversation before, I believe. Let's be honest. Black people, we still have trauma. Yeah. And how you cover that trauma, and I can speak upon this because I work in mental health and I see trauma every goddamn day. And how you dice that trauma up is that you give yourself labels. You say things like high value. First it was high octane men. First, we were going from being high octane men. And that's no disrespect to BGS, but that was a term that was being used. Now we've gone from that to, then you got red pill. Then you got, well, you're a beta male, you're a blue pill, you're a red pill. And now we've got this new thing called high value man. If you don't make a certain amount of money, you're not a high value man. All these things are just things that we use, unfortunately, to make us feel good about ourselves internally, and then we express it externally when we get on panels and say, "Hey, I'm an alpha male," and we have to beat on our chest and remind ourselves that we are relevant, because deep down inside in our psychosis, we are still in trauma as black men, as black people, because especially for black men, we've always been in a position in which we don't feel like we're being heard in society, which is why YouTube is very therapeutic for us, because it allows black men to get on these panels and express things that you can't express at work. Express things that you may not even be able to say in your household if you got a bunch of women badgering over you. Depending on your circumstances, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is not a put down. We got to be able to we have to use mechanisms that do help our self-esteem. But I have to be honest, these are things that we do use because we are suffering in trauma, and whatever that trauma is, I'm not going to open that whole bag of worms
that's
up.
A whole nother day.
I'm not going to go there, but we do know that we do suffer to a certain degree, and we need ways to medicate ourselves. If that is saying, "Hey, I'm a high value man because I got an $80,000, $100,000 job, $200,000 job, and so on and so forth, and I can attract women." If that makes you feel good about yourself when other things in your life is shitty, then that's the therapeutic. That's what it does for you therapeutically. But remember, this is something that I came up with. BMT, if you don't take a shower for weeks and you're funky, you're stinky, right? And you go and you take your best cologne, put a suit on, and put your best cologne on and dice yourself. You will smell pretty nice with the cologne, but underneath that cologne, you stink to high heaven.
Yes.
Right. Mix. It's a mix. And everybody can tell the mix.
No, you see, here's the thing about it. And I want, and let me, in reference to that, look at this year. Look at how they talk about us. Look at how
Yeah, that's a big
look how
deal.
they
Yep.
reference us. Look how they spoke about us. Look how
Mm.
certain things when they happen, how they view or that they dealt with us. If that didn't wake you up about your and see that's why I try to tell y'all that on the real, listen, man, y'all we playing on a whole nother scale right now, man. And listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man, we gonna have the bastard shaming. Y'all might want to start realizing the things that they are for what they are. You know, I get it.
Mm.
The welfare system, ooh, bad. Yes, I get that. I get that. But when you're constantly being told you can't get no kind of subsidies, you can't get nothing, but you can work and bust your behind over 40 hours, and yet you still don't make enough to feed your baby, and you hear the screaming child in the back, you might start making some different decisions.
Right.
You might start questioning your fealty or loyalty when all of a sudden you have to have a woman in there in a hot room with no AC and a child screaming. That man starts looking at his morale basis. See, I can
We in
actually
a
speak and talk it.
Mm.
Me and mine, we definitely came from the bottom. We know what it's like to have to go out there and go put a bucket of water and go pour it in the toilet to flush it so that way she can have
Yep.
some water just to take a piss. I didn't just get here. I didn't forget those who gave me $10 to put in my pocket. Hey man, keep this $10. I could have used that $10 for myself, but you know what? I know one thing. We needed some milk. We needed some bread. We needed
Yep.
some meat. Oh, believe me, I just swallowed a lot of tears. Listen, y'all. I had to turn off the camera. Lord knows, my wife would pat me on my back. Y'all don't know what it's like. Y'all, see, that's why I said when I hear the way how we as black people talk about the family, man, listen, y'all. I swear, it's like, yo, who needs that white man genocide when the way we talk about it, the way we do right now, man.
We're on autopilot though.
This
Can I get
autopilot.
next after you're done?
Yeah, you can go next. I'm just saying, man. Like, I swear, man. I sometimes, and I had one time I had to stop myself and say, I love black. I love being. I have to chant that to myself because
Mm.
sometimes I get so frustrated and angry at how we talk. Sometimes it makes me really angry where I'm like, yo, dude, like, I don't want to be my brother's keeper because I don't want y'all to screw my children over. I'm not playing games with y'all. I would die for mine in a heartbeat. Like I'll put it all on the line, man. I don't trust the system. I don't trust anything literally to do right by me. I just want y'all to understand that. Nobody's gonna take care of mine. There was no blue-eyed man from the sky that came and saved my people. There was no doggone man on with 45 on him. There was no goddamn slave ship Negro Jordan from Amistad. Ain't nobody came to save us yet. So whoever y'all thinking is coming to save the black man in 2021, please email him to come talk to me. Ain't nobody came then. They definitely ain't somebody coming now.
And we ain't have a dude with a canoe and a spear come to help us either.
Mm.
So go ahead, brother.
All right, so I'm gonna throw this out there because Joe, you said this. You said guys start to look at their morality when they see they can work 40 hours a week and still not really have enough to take care of their family. And for a long time, I think every one of us has noticed it how brothers get blamed for a lot of the negative stuff that goes on in America. Even if you look at like the FBI crime report, like you did one night, Joe, in one of your shows, and it showed we're actually some of the most peaceful folks. I'm gonna throw this out there because Joe, I mean, just a couple days ago, I said a lot of us have trauma. Now, Information Man says the same thing. What made us strong was the fact that we were together. And because we're so caught up in our trauma and our pain, not wanting to acknowledge it, trying to cope through drugs, sex, alcohol, and all kinds of other reckless stuff. Like if we could acknowledge that and if we could just get back together, we'd be fine because we were doing just fine even back when we got dragged here, when we were trying to be separate from them, we were running our own stuff. It wasn't until they really started breaking up the homes that things really. Well, look, I wasn't around at that time, but I think it's safe to say that things really started going downhill after the homes started getting broken up. But if we can't get past that, we're probably never gonna recover.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Hey, yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, brother.
Yeah.
Like I said, and I think we're joined here by J.I. We're also
Let me know when it's on me, BMT.
okay. Like I said, and I'll be real with y'all. Like right now, I'm gonna tell y'all for real, y'all. I know y'all think I got it all the time, or I'm always put together, but y'all, I'm telling y'all, every day, I'm having an internal fight. Every day, I have an internal fight with my inner Negro, and it is not easy. I don't care. Whoever said it's easy being a black man, that's the devil. They the devil.
That's
Whoever said it's easy being a family household person, y'all. And I'm telling y'all right now, for all my brothers who haven't done it yet, I'm telling y'all it's a fight. Like nobody, it's a fight. If I could be there and just put my hand on y'all shoulder or put $5 in there, I would do it, and I would do it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, from Info can tell you, and Mike can tell you, it's a day, it's a struggle. Koja can tell you, it's not an easy day. There's gonna be some oppositions. Yeah, every time you think you get $5 in that goddamn pocket of yours, man, I swear on something, there's some type of little demon that knows that I'm just. How can I just fuck up this black person?
It's an algorithm.
I just had $5.
There is no brothers in America has no friends.
Who said that Henry it was Henry God dang, I know he said the black man has no friend.
John Henry Clark.
John Henry Clark. Y'all, I'm telling y'all right now, you need to go hear that speech. He did it when he was blind. And I bust into tears when I heard that, but I understood from a father talking to a son exactly. And I'm gonna tell you, brother I will tell you, any other brother KS or any of y'all, you're gonna fight. Your any of y'all brothers in the chat, any of y'all sisters, the talking point, I'm telling y'all right now. The world becomes very gray when somebody's world hinges on you. That's why I said I'm not worried about nobody taking me out of my home. I'm not worried about no fools on YouTube. You can't dox me, baby. The world done did everything to me. They done did everything. I done had the police come to my home. I done had all kind of policies try to put on my children. I done had people try to spit bad on me. Baby, ain't nothing y'all can do to me. I accept my fate that when I doggone walk that woman up the aisle, my woman done told me in tears when I done crank up that car and said, I'm leaving. She said, if you leave, please. If I fail, just take our children. That convicted me. And I made it all the way to doggone North Carolina from South Carolina. I turned my ass around. I said, I got to go back. I can't leave Egypt and leave my people in Egypt. Some brothers can do it, but I can't leave my babies. I can't. And if I knew one of y'all children out there suffering and starving, I would say, brother, just give me y'all child. Until you get your stuff together, just give me your child. They'll call me a simp. They'll call me a sucker, but at least I know your child will be safe until you get back on your feet. But we don't got that damn system. We don't. There's not enough infos. There's not enough KSs. There's not enough sin. There's not enough Mama Kojas. We don't got that system, y'all. There are more of us in the goddamn child service system than goddamn immigrants coming in this country. How the fuck is that possible? So go ahead, Jay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And then I gotta get to Mama Koja. Jay, can you hear me?
All right.
Go ahead.
It was a very good conversation. And I always, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. It's a very good conversation. I always use respect to BMT. And Information Man always, respect to the brother, he always brings up the power of mentoring, and it is powerful. The reason why brothers like myself that echo the sentiments that I do are the way that we are is because you cannot, this is a common sense issue that we have at this point. When people say things like, you don't need a man or you can do it by yourself or whatever, that is saying that they don't need family. And when you have a system that incentivizes that to continue, then the only way to defeat that is to not opt into the system. So that would mean that kids would only be had in marriages. And with this country, we don't have those values that support that anymore. See, a lot of people think I'm against marriage. I'm not against marriage. If you want children, you should get married. But the values that made marriage what it was and actually important have eroded away. You can't have marriage as just a title and you just get messed over in the end. That's not what marriage is supposed to be. It's changed from what it was meant to be. So unless people somehow can get back to having families, which you cannot have a family without the man. Unless that can happen, there's not going to be any fixing of the system that we have. Men are just going to break away and start over, which is essentially what we see happening now. But men aren't going to stay and just be punching bags for nonsense. And there's not going to be enough men that will step up and say, okay, I'll just do it for nothing and get ridiculed as I'm doing it just for the sake of trying to help the community. No, because even those men that would do that, it wouldn't be enough to fix this problem. If you can't have common sense enough to say you're not going to have kids until you're within a marriage and actually want them, then there's nothing else that anybody can do to fix this issue. In my opinion. You got it.
Even then, if you sitting there being a punching bag, they're gonna hate you for that too. Don't forget that.
Yep. Very. Okay, I was trying to be sure when for the next person. But let me say this too. You can have equality under the law, or you can have family, but you can't mix this both. Women can't say they're equal to men, and then you want the man to be strong for you. You can't have it both. Either the man is going to be the leader and all that, and you're going to fall up under the proper structure,
right? Or
if you want to do that equal thing, or whatever, you can do it by yourself, and you do it by yourself. And we see the results of you doing it by yourself. They've not been good. But unless we return somehow to a more traditional way of doing things, and I'm not even talking about religion, because this has been done this way across different religions, where the man is the head, then the woman, then the child. Once you get out of that order, you start getting into chaos and foolishness, in my opinion. Now, right. You can have it because we live in a day and age where police and men protect you. Women get services from men today that 200 years ago you had to have a husband to get that type of protection. There was no 911 like that. You couldn't just go to Walmart and pick up food. So since a lot of this stuff has been automated, the illusion of not needing a man has come into play, and that's not the case with the destruction of our community. You need the man, not want the man, not well, I don't need him, but I want him. No, you need the man. Until they understand, so people can understand that, then families will not be able to be reconciled back together, and it's going to stay fragmented. As long as it's fragmented, men like me who don't have kids yet or who already see the system are like, no, don't need anything to do with that. They're going to do SYSBM, MGTOW, whatever. They're just going to go about their business and live their life. And it's not going to get fixed unless that mindset can really get changed on that level. And that's going to take a big come to Jesus moment, as they say, in the Black community.
Hey, Jay, let me ask you a question though. Have you ever seen this thing called SCUM, SCUM, the SCUM Manifesto?
No, what's the acronym stand for?
Yeah, it's the Society for Cutting Up Men. But you should look up that.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, look that up. Because
Wow.
you are right about some stuff, but the way that you're attacking the problem that you see, you're falling right into their trap, because they were doing this before actually all of us were born, setting this thing up. But I think you should look into that. Yeah.
Wow, it actually is. Wow.
That's interesting. I'm gonna look into that.
Society for Cutting Up Men.
Wow. I have never heard of that.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, we don't understand. We're seeing the problems that we're seeing are not sourced in us as good people. So sometimes we're getting angry at people, and it's not their fault that they believe the stuff they believe. They were taught this stuff, and these little systems were set up for us to fight each other. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and they were set up by damaged people, and who intentionally want us to be dysfunctional. And that's what I'm saying. So sometimes we're sitting up here attacking people, even though
I disagree with that.
Well, no, this is a fact. I mean, like I said, if you look into it, then you'll see what I'm saying, because it's just a historical fact what I'm talking about. The systems that we're experiencing, the societal regulations and rules, because you made mention of this thing, I don't need a man. That terminology was fed to our community. Info knows around when that was being fed to our girls and women, because women didn't say that way back. I mean,
yes,
like,
but they chose to accept it.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying to you. When you understand the real source of it, though, because like you said, you can blame, that's fine, but the solution part is what I'm talking about. You can literally, the same way that they were given something to accept that was dysfunctional, if you understand the source of that and defeat it at the root, then you can get people to accept a different way. Maybe not the people in the past, but I'm just talking about into the future. That's all I'm saying.
Mike, did you know this group was killing? They killed.
No, that's called parenting, though.
Well, I mean, like I said, all that blaming stuff, to me, blaming
with a name like that, I can believe it.
Yeah, the blaming part, I don't put too much stock in.
I know. Hold on. Here's why I blame the parents. Let me say this. Let me say this real quick. I understand the whole source of to me, it's like the whole devil argument. The devil makes you do bad. No, you have a personal choice. If you're a parent, this is why I said it's a common sense issue. If you have a parent as a human being, you should understand that it takes two parents to raise a child. I shouldn't have a child unless I'm stable in a situation to be able to raise a child. I call that common sense. I don't care about any agenda that's pushing otherwise. You, on some point, on some level, have to have the common sense to make better decisions.
But J.I., you're leaving a lot of variables that do have an effect on people's decision making. And when you purposely leave out those variables, you're not coming up to the proper solution. Because the thing is, people, I don't care what we want to believe, but we are a result of a lot of different inputs. to our lives and our experiences. That's just the bottom line. And you know, if you want to ignore the fact that the inputs that people have affect the type of output that they're going to show, then you're not going to ever come up to the type of behaviors that you're looking for. You're not ever going to get to that. And that's what I'm saying, especially you being a young guy, it's important because you're going to be able to adjust your strategy based upon the type of inputs and knowledge that you have about the situation and why people behave the way they behave. So you're saying that you don't care about outside systems. You don't have a choice but what you know. The choices are based upon the knowledge that you retain and that you have available to you. If you didn't know that you had the option,
you learn from your parents. You learn it from your parents.
Okay, yeah, they learned it from their parents, and they learned it from their parents. That's fine. That doesn't take away from what I'm saying, though. I'm saying if, let's say, you go to court and the judge only offers you guilty or innocent, but you didn't know you could declare nolo. Nobody informed you of that. So all you're going to do is based upon what your knowledge base is. You see what I'm saying? Those are the options that you have. So people at different periods of time had different, kinds of knowledge available. They didn't have internet at certain periods of time. So they're going to come up with different solutions.
I can't get it because I understand.
Well, I mean,
I understand the sentiment of what you're saying. The whole,
I mean, it's just facts,
you can only do as good as you know, but that takes away personal accountability. I can't.
No, it doesn't. You can only do what you know. That's just the bottom line. But like I said, you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree. But I'm just saying, it's just the facts. You can only do what you know to do. That's it.
The thing I want to say is, yeah, J.I., you definitely want to turn on that.
But on a common sense level, you know what right from wrong is.
Okay, well, like I said, however you process it, that's fine. However you process it, that's fine, and that's up to you. But I'm just encouraging you to look up some of that stuff.
So,
what's this dog in my yard?
So like I said, you guys definitely check out. I definitely am going to look into Scum. Wow, they got a whole. They're older than MGTOW. They are older than MGTOW, and literally they have a following. I think.
Oh yeah, they've been affected policy. This is policy. This is what we live.
These women have gotten policy.
See, that's what I'm saying. This stuff. This ain't stuff that we're talking on the internet. These people have already affected our policy. This is what you're dealing with. This is what you're fighting against.
Are on some different.
They're making you irrelevant. This is what JI is looking at, and that's what I'm saying. You're making judgments based on a certain amount of information, and you don't even know who you're really up against.
That's very. I thank you for showing me this, Mike.
No. I'm up against the bad behavior. Whatever powers are in place, don't make you make bad. Oh, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying. You guys definitely check into that. I probably, I definitely want to cover over Scum. I got a feeling, and I'm scratching my nose, and y'all can tell me if I'm going to be wrong. BMT's been pretty right so far. I'm willing to bet this year Scum's going to get some stuff done. They're going to get some stuff done this year. If the winds are blowing right, with all the radicalists getting to come out of their out in the open, there is no need for these women to hide. Well, they already are open, but they're really going to get the turn up. They're really going to get the turn up.
Yeah, people.
Did you see what was on the Black Lives? I was just going to say, did you see what was on the Black Lives Matter website? They said they wanted to do away with the nuclear family and shit.
Yeah, that's
I
them.
agree with both. Yeah,
that's them. That's them. That's them.
Oh, okay.
No. See, that's the thing about it, y'all. I'm going to go over Scum. I'm gonna go over Scum. I think they even have an HBO thing about their leader. Like they have killed men. Like they have killed men. Like they are not. Like they got lawyers and everything. Like these ain't no sedity old women. They got power. They got clout. They only and there's no men in Scum. It's all women. Like they
But they have an auxiliary. They have a male auxiliary.
Oh yeah. I think they have the
Yeah, you can be.
Mike. We're gonna have to go into down the rabbit hole.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like people, you can only give people a certain amount of information because they think they know stuff, and then once they look into stuff, you got to let it take some time. You got to let it take a year or two dealing with that, and then they'll come to a certain different set of conclusions. Then you can give them more information. Because the problem is with a lot of us, especially, and this is just human in general, we really think we know, and we think we're right about what we're pushing. And this just the way the human mind is set up. The human mind is made to think that it's right. You know what I'm saying? And so it just takes time. The more information a person gets into their sphere, then you'll start seeing their conclusions change over time.
No, that's true. That's true. Hey uppity. Hey, I don't think D Darrell's not here for this one. But I would honestly say the bastard. My prediction to you, Ji, the bastard rate for you and KS is going to go up. It's going to go up to a high scale. Looking at the level of the laws that are being passed and the normalizing of the single parent home, the bastardization is going to go up. But the thing about it is, the bastardized children always come back with a vengeance. Information Man can tell you that. If you starve them, you beat them, you neglect them, they'll be back. They always come back. We don't forget. Those kids, y'all should know. You taught in school. A lot of us seen them. Hell, a lot of these children in these countries, war-torn countries, some of the best soldiers I've ever fought were bastard children. And they got chips on their shoulder. So be very
Got a
mindful.
question, Joe.
Yes, sir.
A question for when you go over the Scum video to answer, because I'm just thinking about.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm trying to think, and I know that women aren't the most rational, and you said there are no men in Scum. Now, with them working as hard as they can to destroy men based off my interpretation of what's been said here, it's pretty much like what's been going on in society that's causing everything to kind of collapse. So they have money, but are they going to turn their backs on their followers who follow them, like what feminism does after women are no longer attractive and they're old and don't have their kids that want to be around them anymore? Because it kind of seems like they're screwing themselves in the long run.
See, that's the whole.
They are. That's what I'm saying. Like dysfunctional. This is what I'm saying. Like people, when they're doing what they're doing, they think they're right because they're not looking at the long run. Long run is, because it's just both of us doing some kind of harmony thing. But the people who get dysfunctional, because that stuff was started by a chick she was just abused. And so, she spread her abuse around. That's what that is. That's what the feminism thing is. The stuff, the feminism that, that started it all. I'll say it like that. It's just a bunch of people who were abused. and then they want to spread their stuff around. And so, yeah, they're stuff that they're talking about is dysfunctional, and that's why we're dealing with the dysfunction of what they were believing in back then.
Okay, so the show that I'm going to put together is Scum versus MGTOW. Which that's going to be
Yeah.
a real good
That'd
one.
be good for a line.
That's going to be a real good one. Scum versus MGTOW. Two ancient.
I think some of it's.
Huh?
No, I was saying I think some of it's media too, though, because if you look at what was on TV, as far as representation, like positive representation, or even just like regular representation or shows and stuff, you know, you had your Fresh Prince, you had Martin, which was just about like regular black people that was friends. You had like a bunch of positive shows, and then I remember when I moved, because I lived in the country for a little while before I moved to the inner city. And I remember like kids was watching like Bad Girls Club and stuff. I'm like, how your mom lets you watch that? Like
More
it's
like
just
how the
like
hell can you?
well, same thing with like, you know, yeah, or like Love and Hip Hop and shit. And they all asking me like you never seen this and that, and I'm like, no, because I had like rules and structure, and you if it's rated R, then it's just rated R. If it's PG, you know, whatever. And I'm like, damn, these kids like kept watching all this stuff, and their parents, I guess, just let them, and then they internalize it. So I think it's both. Like, I do think a lot of it is the parenting too, because, you know, if you do something and it doesn't work, and you keep doing it, and it keeps not working, you gotta wake up yourself and say, damn, maybe I shouldn't continue to do this. But I also think it's media too, because if that shit wasn't on TV or in our music, then you can internalize some of that stuff. You know, like the single motherhood is now, first it was just a survival thing. Like, first it was like, okay, a lot of men is, yeah, like a lot of men are, I mean, y'all are men. If you don't have a job and you can't feed your family, you feel useless. So, you know, and then, so a lot of, I feel like what information was the whole strong, independent, single mother thing. That was like how with the high value thing, like it just makes you feel better about the fact that you don't have any help. Now it's glaring, you know, replace men with bags and shoes and stuff like that. So,
let me make a statement. You made good.
Yeah.
You made good statements, brother. You're right. It's a breakdown in the family structure, because if you're allowing your kids to watch that type of garbage, then you can't be surprised by your kids' behavior. One of the things that I think is very dangerous today, remember, brothers, there was a time when women would say that men were the ones that were slutting them out, that men were the ones putting these images. Remember back in the 90s, 80s, they said that the rappers were calling black women hoes and bitches, and they were portraying them in a very slut-like way. Well, guess what? They can no longer shame men in today's era about that, because women are actually doing it without any man's influence themselves. Because of their independence, they feel they can do whatever they want. And the onset of social media has made it a bad place for men when it comes to dating, because social media has empowered women even more than men. Because when you look at your Instagram and all your social media, these women are putting up pictures of themselves, very sexual, suggestive ways, and they're getting a lot of guys that are giving them lights, so they're getting the validation that they really, really want. And women are dancing to songs like WAP, and they are putting people like Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion on this pedestal of this is black woman power. So now black woman power has went from being IDB Wells to, at one point in time, it was Angela Davis, you know, it was revolutionary type of sisters, to now black woman power, or revolutionary power for black women, or for women in general, is that they can get on video, shake their butt and their rumps, display their sexuality, and in their minds they feel that but it's under my control. A man is not making me do this. It's me expressing myself. So the men no longer have to coerce women to behave like this because the women are doing it for themselves freely. That is clearly a breakdown in family structure, because these same kids, the Curly Bees and the Meg Thee Stallion, where did they get that behavior from? They were watching females on television. A lot of kids get their information from TV. You know, they're watching TV and they're saying, hey, that's pretty cool. So those images with the whole WAP video is actually dangerous for young girls growing up today who are watching these women, and they're thinking that that is what it is to be a woman. That's womanhood. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree with you 120%.
I'm gonna head off, guys. All right, peace, family.
Yeah.
Peace,
Peace to you.
I agree with what you're saying. On that one info, like the imagery has gotten very dangerous. That's why I said what I said about the. That's why I said what I said about the high value. I mean, I remember in the shows, in the TV shows, the high value Gucci girl, she was valuable. The guy who had the nice chains and the FUBU and Reeboks and had the money, had the nice suit on. See, that was the guy of value. That's why I said these certain terms that y'all are using from these so-called made men off of what trials of blood and that they do. When y'all have these talking points of these poachers of our people, I'm like, yo, man, y'all don't know who y'all gaslighting. There's nothing new under the sun. Listen, like I said, and we went from having structural dialogue and conversations to now they done niggified us, even on these spaces. So now when we want to actually talk about the stuff, the information that we need to get out that can help us, and all info, baby McKenzie, she's still alive.
Fantastic. I'm happy to hear that.
But you know the thing about it that they always try to do? They always want to have it where her dad is crying. They always want him to be looking sympathetic and weak. And he said, why do y'all always want me to look like that on camera?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gotta understand that the way how they play certain imagery for us. There's a reason for that.
Well, they've been doing that. When you look at a lot of the incidents in which there've been incidents where black men have been shot by cops or whatever the situation is, they love going to the cameras and showing the crying mother or the sobbing father because they want to show the image of us being weak and broken. And then what really bothers me, BMT, not to get too far off subject, is when you see black people saying, we forgive the cops, or we forgive this and forgive that. I don't think when you're grieving over a child, in my opinion, who am I to say this, but because I haven't lost a child in that way, but I just don't think I personally would be trying to say, I forgive the cops, or I forgive this person for taking my child out of here. I forget the person. No, I can't say that. Don't want to say that. And I know lawyers like Benjamin Crump. I know he tells these people to say that because you know what Benjamin Crump is. He's a deal maker. He's the guy that makes the deal for the money payoff. So he'll get he'll say what he has to say to the family so that they can get that the money cut so that he gets his little percentage, because he doesn't win any cases, brother.
No, he sure enough don't. But he it's not about him. It's not about winning. It's not about doggone literally getting justice. It's about the money.
Right.
So,
it's all about the money. Benjamins.
So and the thing about it, as soon as they're paid, guess what? Justice is served.
Right. And don't get me wrong, the family, I don't mind the families getting any money at all. But I just, you get these civil rights lawyers like Benjamin Crump, and he gravitates towards the cases that he knows he's going to get him a bag on. I've been noticing that lately since he came on the scene. It was Trayvon Martin that put him on the top, of being nationally recognized as a civil rights lawyer.
Man, he threw that. They threw that case so that way they could get that coin.
Yeah, that was some crap.
They threw that case.
So BMT, before I'm going to get ready to get out of here, but get off the panel. Got some things I need to do. But in terms of the bastard child, are you saying? Let me get this right. Are you saying that we should not underestimate the bastard child?
Do not underestimate it. Not this year. And don't. This year, you're going to see info. Mark my words. You're going to see the return of the bastard child. This next year, 2021, going to be the year of the bastard child. And they're going to do whatever they want to do to get noticed. They're going to do whatever they got to do to get their notice. It's better for us to talk to them on our own terms than to ignore them.
Wow.
I'm telling you right now, you're going to see a lot of these people that feel like their voice wasn't heard before.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever answers them first, hopefully it's one of us. Because Billy Porter, one of them bastard children.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Billy Porter, because Billy Porter is an example of someone who hates himself. If you notice when he talks about his homosexuality, he directs it towards the black community. He directs a lot of his anger that comes out of his own sexuality towards black people, saying that black people were the most harsh to him because of his sexuality. And I understand that, in the black community, that was something at one point in time we weren't going for. But he often keeps bringing it to that, and he sounds like a man who actually needs to go get him some further therapy and treatment, because he keeps projecting it on just the black community when you got racism within the LGBTQ. Racism runs rapid within the LGBTQ community towards black people that are gay. You know that, BMT?
No, it does. It does. And see, that's the thing about it. Mute up if y'all got the rappers and stuff going in the background. You got it. You listen, man. I'm telling y'all right now, man. This is why. Listen, and I had to sit down with somebody that literally says one of the biggest reasons why we have a big issue with homosexuality is that was one of the first things that they would do to a lot of the men was try to butt break it.
Is that real?
Yes, that is a real.
Yes,
thing.
it is real. What they would do. Go ahead, BMT.
No. Go ahead, brother.
What they would do to black. Let's say you had a black man who escaped from the plantation, or a black man did something that was defiant to the slave master. He would tie him up against like a tree or something, bend him over, and they wanted the young and the strongest young black men on those plantations to see what he would do to the biggest, what they would call buck. So they would do this to the biggest and strongest man, and in some cases the master himself or some overseer that was white would literally sodomize him for everyone to see, for the women to see, for the children to see, and for the other young men to see, to say, if you think you're going to do A, B, and C, I can break down your biggest alpha male amongst you. Am I right or wrong, BMT? You can add more to it, brother.
No, and it's men would die from this. Women would die from that. Listen, you can go look it up. The tool, you can look up the tool for it. It's a tool that literally they were used to. It's like how they have it for opening up a woman's vagina. The same tool was used for a man's anal, rectum. They can do it to a woman also, but it's supposed to be used to establish dominance. Most of the time, you will die or bleed out. So, That was something. Not saying I'm not saying that we should treat people of what they believe in like that, but there's a dark history of why blacks feel the way we do about certain types of communities. You know what I'm saying? Don't always think that man was always going to that slave house for that woman. That's a lie.
BMT, look at wait a minute.
I got a question.
Real quick, brother. All due respect to you, I put on the I changed my avatar for the purpose. Look at my avatar. Can you enlarge my box?
I can do that. Let me go.
All you gotta do is take your mouse over the screen of it. If you look at the avatar that I got, that's the actual thing that they would use to insert on the penis of black men in slavery. You see how that thing looks?
Hang on, let me get it over you. So that
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I had to, okay, so I have the picture of this, but I said, let me just change it to my avatar just to get to the point. You see how that thing is? Look at that. Take a good look at that, everybody. Look at your screens. So that thing right there would go over, that would insert into the man's penis, and they would clamp it down. They would use this as a punishment or as a message to send to others. You better not do what this buck did. This thing is horrible. I think I did a show about this, BMT, where I looked to show these items. So I just wanted you all to see that for effect. That's why I changed that to my avatar. Thank you, BMT.
Not a problem. And see, the thing about it is, y'all, listen, man, like I said, man, we got a lot of devils that we deal with. And you know what I'm saying? I know it's not easy dealing with the home. Maybe one day we don't have to wait for Father's Day, but talk about the battles of the home. Because I want a lot of y'all need to understand we don't have enough conversations about them, but those things are going to be put on the table. There's going to be a lot of different things put on the table on how the household is run. That's why a lot of people are worried about, hey, what's going to happen to the home? What laws are going to be impacted upon me, my children? A lot of these things. Right. That's why I said, brothers, you need to start getting involved with learning about your politics of society. Start getting involved.
Mm-hmm. BMT, you can take me off the screen, BMT. Go ahead.
Yes, I got you. But with all of that, you guys, I thank y'all. I thank y'all for coming through. Much respect to all of y'all. Like the video, share the video.
Wait a minute, BMT. The other brother has something to say before I had kind of cut in, and I apologize. No disrespect to him. I just wanted to drive home the imagery that we were talking about.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I understood this. So that thing, they put that on his friend.
Yes.
They would put it on our personal part, and it would clamp down, and it was something that would insert inside the actual penis itself as a punishment, as a torture. Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but it seems like I always thought that they had this envy and this twisted sort of love for us, but I think that pretty much just solidified it because they sure couldn't keep their hands off us.
Well, if you read any books by Dr. Frances Wilson, her Cresting ISIS papers, white men, European, particularly men, have always had some kind of fascination with the penis area, the phallic symbol area of the black male. And you know why? It's just like what Public Enemy said, a fear of a black planet. Our penis, our genetic makeup, we have the ability to annihilate them because they are recessive in their genes. So anytime you mix a black man with any female, those black genes, those negroid features, whatever we want to call it, will be pronounced in that child one way or another. The negroid features will come out. And white men are concerned about, or white people, the theory is going is that they're concerned about their genetic survival. And if you look at when they would hang black men from trees, you know what they used to do? They would cut off the penis.
Yes, they did.
And they would save it like a rabbit's foot, my brother.
And see,
Yep.
that's even weirder because, like, one, to my understanding, they're like they came from us. They're like a mutant strain of us that were just born with albino, and then they disappeared for a while.
But
A lot of their features dwindled down. But then, like, even then, if they like,
but it makes it makes perfect sense though, my brother. You know why? Look at it psychologically. People tend to hate what they are or where they come from. Look at how within our family structures, same thing we see in the black community, we'll turn our hate, our inner hate, we'll turn it outward towards those that we love. So we'll turn against, so you'll say, why do we have black men killing black men in the streets? Why do black families will turn against each other? Because it's for whatever reason, we tend to turn on those that are light, self, and kind. And white people are no different. They're actually turning against that which they came from, because there is some inner hate, and there's this issue around the fact that like anybody, nobody wants to be dominated. I think white people are concerned that we're going to do to them what they have done to us over all these years, and that's why you see the pushing of the whole race issue. Can't, as much as we want it to go away, we want to move on from it, it always drags back.
So without no further ado, guys, I'll see you guys later.
All right,
Thank
brother,
you for having me on.
Peace
Anytime.
peace to
having
all.
me up.
And info, email
Yeah,
me
same
if
to you.
Have a nice day.
If you want to talk about, man, we gotta get together, man. I'll see you guys.
Yeah, BMT,
later.
I really appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Just email me if you want to have a talk. Okay. So
Yeah, yes, sir.
I'll see you guys later. Peace. Y'all have a good day.